beef jerky. Each package is loaded with savory cuts of lean beef. Listen to me and pick up some all-natural Alberto beef jerky.
Alberto beef jerky. You get out what you put in.
Refers to Alberto's all-natural line of beef jerkies. Minimally processed, no artificial ingredients.
We want to talk right down to earth in a language that everybody here can easily understand.
And now it's time for the voice.
Don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
I want you to get up right now.
Go to the window,
Open it.
stick your head out and yell.
Hated man! Top of the world!
The Voice of Ocala with Buddy Martin.
You know I don't speak Spanish. In English, please.
Look in my eyes, what do you see? The cult of personality. I know your anger, I know your dreams. I've been anything you wanna be. Oh, I'm the cult of personality. Like Mussolini and Kennedy, I'm the cult of personality. The cult of personality. The cult of personality.
Good Monday afternoon. Welcome to the Voice of Ocala. I am Tom Schmitz coming to you live from the palatial studios of WOCA Radio, just outside the food court entrance to the Paddock Mall in the Brick City Beautiful, Ocala, Florida. Joined on Mondays, as I always am, by Christine ODR. Christine, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tom.
Christine, fresh off of her playing in the U.S. Amateur Qualifier down at Kensington Country Club in Naples. Did you have a good time?
I had a great time.
All these experiences, while it didn't come out the way you wanted it to, all these experiences lend to you building your abilities to face these kind of adversities and come back from them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you didn't play bad.
I hit the ball so good, Tom. That's what was the most frustrating thing, was that it was just one of those days where I played well, I hit the ball well, just could not score.
Christine, as we all, if you do not know, plays golf for Stetson University. She's here on a summer internship program from Stetson University. So she took a couple of days last week to go play in a U.S. Amateur Qualifier. We'll talk in sports about, I think, probably the best golf round I've ever seen in my life that took place yesterday.
They played so much better than the rest of the field. It was incredible. And Henrik Stenson.
If you tell a man that he's going to, on Sunday of a major championship, shoot 65, he'll take it because he knows he's going to win the claret jug.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
It was almost they were in a match play tournament. It was
not almost. They were in match play.
It was exciting to watch.
Phil Mickelson finishes second with the highest total separating second and third in a major in the history of a major, eclipsing Jack Nicklaus, who was 10 strokes ahead when he finished second back in the 70s. So Phil Mickelson shoots 17 under and loses. We'll talk about that in the sports hour. Get Buddy's take on it too. Buddy Martin will join us at the 4 o'clock hour. Yesterday or Saturday, that it happened again. We got reports around 11 o'clock that there had been a shooting of police officers in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. A man had called saying there was a suspicious character. The police responded, and as they were getting out of their cars, they were ambushed by rifle fire, and 6 officers were shot, 3 officers fatally wounded. 3 officers still in the hospital, 1 clinging to life. He's in critical condition. And
so the call was a setup?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Setup. So a lot of people are now, and there was a Black Lives Matter rally that was to take place yesterday in Ocala. And so a lot of people were like, out of respect for the fallen officers in Baton Rouge, you shouldn't have a Black Lives Matter rally.
Especially considering that it was an African-American who just shot and killed the 3 officers.
One of the officers killed was an African-American.
One of the officers killed. Who was the person that...
An African-American.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
From Kansas City, Missouri, who had rented a van and drove to Baton Rouge, Louisiana because he said he'd had enough and he was going to have to. The only way you have to hit bullies and hit them hard. That's the only way they understand. That was what he put on Facebook. Was why he was doing this. Was he was standing up to the bully, which is police.
I'm so sick of all this. I am so sick of it. Because when I saw this pop up on the news, I was like, not again.
It gets to be where it's exhausting.
Well, what do they hope to gain from doing this? A whole bunch of little shootings here and there is all of a sudden what? What are you hoping to prove?
It's the terror and the way you make people fearful. I don't know. I know you're probably not old enough to remember, but the snipers in Northern Virginia and Washington, D.C., there were two snipers that were operating together. One of them would drive a car around, the other one would lay in a trunk.
I remember that. It was a father and son.
Well, they were kind of like father and son, yeah, but yeah.
I don't know if it was like his half son or something,
right.
But they were they pretty much
right.
They considered each other father and son.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And
because they couldn't figure out how these
because people didn't know where it was coming from.
No, they couldn't tell. And
right.
then they did this whole documentary on it. I thought it was really neat.
Yeah, they were laying in the trunk and had holes cut in the trunk so they could stick the rifle out.
Yeah, they cut out like the middle seat so that he could lay down.
Right.
And then only the tip of the rifle.
Right. And they would shoot people, and I think they shot like 20 people. An FBI agent died or something. But it was the fear that struck that area of Virginia and Washington, D.C. That was much more powerful than how many people they were killing. I mean, don't get me wrong, you kill one person, that's terrible. But the fear that struck that area, people weren't doing. People were getting shot at gas stations.
I remember that because it was just drive-by shootings.
Right.
And they had no idea.
Just random shootings, and they had no idea. Well, that's kind of what it's the fear factor more than it is a factor of because let's be honest. Nobody in their right mind, and murderers, by the way, aren't in their right mind, but no sane, no sensical person would think that you're going to stop alleged police brutality or excessive force by doing random shootings against cops.
Exactly. And not even that. Those cops didn't do anything. For all you know, they were great men. Well,
yeah, one of them, all three of them married, all three of them fathers. One of them, the African American officer, was a new father. I'm trying to get their names come up. Trying to pull their names up. The internet's being slow on me. But it's just, it's almost like we start every week with this kind of story. It's almost like every week Baton Rouge ambush, cops make 911. Yeah, here it is. Cop killer didn't make the 911. Okay, so he did not make the 911 call. This is the gunman killed 3 Baton Rouge police officers, did not lure them to their deaths on Sunday, but instead carried out the ambush after a member of the public called 911. Police do not think the tipster was an attacker or accomplice. It was someone who was calling in. He said there was no indication the initial call was trying to lure someone there. A guy with a gun, that's all the caller said. The shooter, identified as Gavin Long of Kansas City. Long had been in Baton Rouge for days before he carried out the attacks. Long was also apparently in Dallas after 5 officers were shot and killed there last week, according to a video posted on his Twitter account. The video posted on July 10th, 3 days after the attack, was titled, "My Body Cam Footage of Me in Dallas Out in Them Streets Educating Our People." The officers were responding to a 911 call in Louisiana's capital city when they were gunned down in an apparent ambush around 9 a.m. local time Sunday. Law enforcement officials initially believed 2 other suspects were at large, but later said the deceased suspect is likely the only shooter. 2 of the officers killed were from the Baton Rouge Police Department. They were identified as Officer Montrell Jackson, 32. That's the African-American gentleman, 10-year veteran, and Matthew Gerald, 41, who had been serving for less than a year. Brad Garofalo, 45, a 24-year veteran of the East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office, was also killed. Of the 3 officers injured, one was released from the hospital Monday. Our Lady of the Lake Medical Center said in a statement another officer remained in hospital in critical condition. The 3rd officer has suffered non-life-threatening injuries. So, and all this, of course, is in protest to the shooting and killing of Alton Sterling, the man who was, one cop was sitting on his feet, the other cop was down beside him, and they were wrestling, and then the cop shot him.
Oh.
Remember that? That happened in Baton Rouge. So, and then the very next day, the young man was killed Philando Castile was killed in Minnesota the very next day.
They keep talking about YouTube videos that he posted where he's saying that you got to fight back, that protesting's doing nothing.
Yeah, bullies only understand when you hit them back. So just it seems like every Monday we start the show this way.
It's like, congrats, buddy, you made a statement, but it definitely wasn't a good one.
No, it was not a good one. And, you know, yesterday, Black Lives Matter, there was a picture yesterday of the Black Lives Matter rally here in Ocala that I hadn't thought about it, but it makes sense why they were there. But it bothers me that this is where we're at. The Black Lives Matter rally, and by the way, good for you for standing up for your constitutional rights and protesting if that's what you want to do. But there were pictures posted on Facebook because snipers were on all the buildings. Police snipers with SWAT and all were on all the buildings.
Okay.
And that's where we've devolved into now. If we get together and meet or protest, we have to have snipers up on the corners of buildings. The only other time I saw that in Ocala, and I know they say it happens at Light Up Ocala and everything, and it might. The only other time I visibly saw it was when Paul Ryan came here 4 years ago as the vice presidential nominee for the Republican Party and gave a speech. Mm-hmm. It's just, you don't like to think that the city we live in, because we're supposed to be a nice, safe city, has a need for having snipers up on the roofs of buildings.
Well, I mean, what do you expect?
I know.
With everything that's happened.
I understand why they're there.
We can't go back to the early 1900s when things were a little bit easier.
No, I understand why they were there, but it just, it caught me. You know, it's not something I was expecting to see. I understand why they're there.
But it's annoying at the fact that we now have to take that sort of
yeah, but it didn't make me feel any better. Just did not make me feel any better. So coming up next, we'll get into more of the shootings in Baton Rouge. Plus, there's something that starts in Cleveland tonight, and it's not a Cavaliers championship run. We'll talk about that all on this first hour of the Voice of Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life. From everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's national magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz.
Hi, I'm State Farm agent Angie Lewis. Come see me and my team for all your insurance and financial needs in the beautiful downtown historic district, 416 East Fort King Street, or call 291-2444.
Do you remember when summer was a celebration? You know, no schools, no worries, just days packed with your favorite pastime. It was the splendid season you dreamed of all year long. But as you got older and busier, the summer seemed to lose its sparkle. Where did those carefree days go? Well, they're closer than you think. Summer's still sensational at Golden Ocala Golf and Equestrian Club, where you can come out and play the grown-up way with our affordable summer memberships. Enjoy our championship golf course celebrating the game's greatest holes, hard-true tennis courts, and a state-of-the-art fitness center. Explore our stately 77,000 square foot clubhouse and unwind at our relaxing spa. Don't forget the pool! It's a summer unlike any other, and it's yours with a Golden Ocala summer membership. You can call Golden Ocala at 629-6229 to inquire about a summer membership, or you can visit goldenocala.com to learn more. That's goldenocala.com.
My name is Bo Briggs. I'm a sixth-generation Ocala, and I practice law with my father at the Briggs Law Firm. Over the years, we've seen many changes to Ocala and many changes in our profession. What has not changed is our commitment to our clients. You will speak with and get to know your attorney. That will never change. A lawyer will personally handle your case, not a paralegal. So if you've been injured in an accident and would appreciate personal attention, you can reach us at 671-4600 or learn more at thebriggslawfirm.com.
This is Kendall Carpenter with Golden Ocala Golf and Equestrian Club. I want to introduce you to the finest equestrian opportunity available. If you love horses and enjoy Central Florida's mild climate and rich rolling landscape, come explore Golden Ocala. Bridle trails weave their way through this stunningly beautiful community of stately homes. Our state-of-the-art equestrian center will meet all of your equestrian needs with style. Visit us at goldenocala.com.
Need to sell your house? Discover how to easily sell your house fast and for full price in today's market. Join us live this Friday, 9:30 a.m. for Mr. Ocala Real Estate Today. Sell your house now. Full price, fast close. Guaranteed. Call 352-282-3080. 352-282-3080. And join us live right here, 9:30 a.m. Friday.
Palm Garden is proud to announce the next Chats at the Garden on Tuesday, July 19th from 4 to 5 p.m. Rocky Ramirez from Regions Bank will be the guest speaker, and his topic will be identity theft and how to avoid scams to protect your assets. Seating is limited, so RSVP for Tuesday, July 19th, Chats at the Garden by calling 854-6262. That's 854-6262. Palm Garden is located at the corner of Southwest 27th Avenue and Southwest 34th Street.
Putting the local back into radio. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
Visit the WOCA website at www.woca.com. The most trusted name in news, Fox News, every half hour, only on 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Welcome back to the Voice of Ocala. Coming up today on the Voice of Ocala, we got quite the guest list today. The schedule for today is Mark Blaudschen. He's a writer, formerly a columnist with the Boston Globe. He's got a good article on a column on the Big 12 that he's going to talk about. That's at 4:40 today. Franz Beard joins us at 5:20 today for his weekly report. Joe Williams is here as well from Mile High Sports. Tomorrow's a busy day. First off, we're going to be doing the Dr. Marsha Morris show at noon tomorrow, recording that for play on Friday. Mm-hmm. Jose Juarez, the barbecuban. He's from here in Ocala. He's the one that won the national grilling contest for Kelly and Michael back when it was Kelly and Michael. Well, now he's doing shows called Cuban Fusion. Cuban Fusion. Cuban Fusion. Yeah. The shows are called Cuban Fusion. They're a web-to-table series on kellylive.com. And he'll be on with us tomorrow at 4 p.m. And then Ira Schofel of warchant.com, the managing editor of warchant.com, 5:05 tomorrow, talking about the Florida State Seminoles. Plus Tom James, Buddy Martin, and myself will be doing a couple round tables tomorrow for you. And then Wednesday, we got a full day too. We're going to be busy all week, but not as busy as you'll be on Friday.
What am I doing Friday?
I don't know, but I won't be here, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, Lord. But we just have Southern Pigskin playing, right?
No. Friday we'll have a best of the Ask the Cop show. We'll have Dr. Marsha Morris with Family Matters, and then we'll have Southern Pigskin.
So who's doing the Ask the Cops?
It'll be a replay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes me feel better.
You just have to press play.
I'm totally cool with that.
You can do that. And then next Monday, I'm not here either. Neither is Buddy Martin.
Okay, so if anything were to go wrong, could Tom James help me out?
No.
That's not good.
Tom James would help you out.
Okay.
Tom James will be the special guest host next Monday.
Yep.
Bruh.
So
I'm looking forward to it. I'm getting, I'm taking Friday and Monday of next week off to celebrate my 50th birthday.
You are half a century.
50.
You're getting old.
I am getting old. And I didn't think I was going to really, because I don't stress about these kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't stress about turning 30. I didn't stress about turning 40. I'm stressing about turning 50.
My dad always told me that once you turned 40, then it was all downhill.
Yeah.
So maybe it's 50 now.
See, I'm stressing about turning 50.
Why?
Well, because I've noticed in the last year things are starting to hurt more. Like I just, for example, my thumbs kill me all the time. I asked my doctor, I said, what's that? He said, you're getting old. So what do you mean? He says, what are the things you use most? He said, what set us apart from all other animals in the animal kingdom is our opposable thumbs.
Mm-hmm.
And what one appendage do you use more than anything?
Your thumb.
Your thumb, because your thumb does it. It grips. It does everything. Mm-hmm. Everything you do, your thumb is involved with. If you're holding something, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets used more than the other. So it gets to where it gets wore out quicker than the other. And I hate taking pills. I hate taking, I got friends that'll like chew Advil like candy and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate doing that. Because I try to walk it off, but it's starting to wear now. It's just like, prime example, Saturday, I had to take a leave about an hour before I played golf because I was in my house and gripped the golf club, and it was one of the most painful things I'd done. And I was like, okay, I got to play golf. So
a family friend of ours, he does Ironmans, insane athlete.
Right.
And he was biking, and for some reason over the weekend his bike locked up,
Mm-hmm.
and he fell, and he was going like 40 miles per hour.
Mm-hmm.
Landed on his collarbone, broke it in 3 places, had to get a plate and 8 screws in it. And he didn't take a single Advil or Motrin on the way to the hospital. He was just like, I'm pretty sure I broke something.
Yeah.
And his wife was just like, okay, I'll come get you.
I mean, when I broke this arm, when I broke my foot, when I was like 18, I fractured my leg, cracked my leg. People are like, you sure? I was like, yeah, I think I need to go to the hospital.
How many limbs have you broken?
I broke my arm once, I broke my leg once, I broke my foot once, and I broke all 10 fingers I broke every finger on my hand. I've broken my hand.
13,
I've had my nose broke 3
14.
times.
You've broken about 15 plus bones.
Yeah, probably.
That's insane.
Yeah, well, it's why I'm at 50 and stressing all of a sudden. So, but I'm going to have an enjoyable weekend.
There you go. You deserve it.
I know you can find this strange. You can get a little golf in. I'm going to play at a course that is just fantastic.
What course are you going to this
Lake
weekend?
Buena Vista at Walt Disney World
Wait
Resort.
a minute. You're playing there this weekend?
And next, I'm playing there Saturday and Sunday.
I'm going to be there Sunday because Brandon has to have a practice round for his tournament the next weekend.
I tee off at 1:58 Sunday afternoon.
Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday and Sunday, 1:58.
Okay. I might go early Sunday just because it gets so hot.
Well, that's tee times we got.
It's rainy season.
1:58, that's the tee time we got.
That'll be nice.
Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
And then I'm going back August 27th to play it again.
There you go.
For a friend of mine's son who has cancer. We're going to go do a scramble there. I showed it to my friend Paul, and he was like, oh, that's a nice looking course. And then I said, because I was just showing him the photos of the course from Google. And then I said, well, yeah, but let me show you the layout. And I showed him the layout. He said, bro, is all that blue stuff water? I said, yeah, there's more water than grass at LBV.
Yeah. But Lake Buena Vista is one of the most straightforward courses, like out of all the Disney courses.
It's a resort course. So even though there's water everywhere, it's not the most difficult course in the world to play.
It's like Kensington. Kensington is an intimidating golf course if you just see it. But when you play it, there's a lot of places to miss.
Right. So got that looking for. So you're going to be here holding down the fort over the weekend while, on
sorry.
Friday and Sunday.
If anything
Friday
goes wrong, it's not my fault.
Friday and Monday, you'll be like that right there.
Oops.
Like that right there.
My chin hit it.
So, but I'm just glad we're talking about something else.
I agree.
The weekend was terrible. Yesterday was horrible. It was a bad day yesterday. Hey, coming up after the break in Cleveland, starting tonight, we get to hear what our possible first lady could sound like. Donald Trump's wife's giving a speech tonight.
I have never seen her or heard from her.
Donald Trump's wife's giving a speech tonight. And I'm going to tell you a fact about her that hasn't happened since 1790. We'll talk about that next. It is the Voice of Ocala coming up on today's show. Buddy Martin will be in at 4 o'clock, along with at 4:40 he'll have Mark Blauschen, then Franz Beard, and Joe Williams all coming up today. Plus, we'll talk about that wasn't even a fantastic finish. It was a fantastic first hole through the 18th hole.
It was just stellar golf through and through.
By two guys.
I enjoyed it.
I watched it and didn't move while it was on. We'll talk about that during the sports hour right here on a Monday edition of the Voice of Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
There's a car accident in this country every 5 seconds. That's why Allstate thinks it's time for an entirely different kind of car insurance, with features like accident forgiveness and a safe driving bonus. It's called Your Choice Auto, and it's only from Allstate. Are you in good hands?
You deserve better. Sign up for Your Choice Auto from Allstate. Call the McDonald Agency today at 622-2333.
Features are optional and subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Insurance, Northbrook, Illinois.
Your quality of life is meant to be fully enjoyed each day. The doctors at Ayers Global understand that and strive to provide a quality of life for you that has no equal. Ayers Therapeutic Services combines naturopathic and family medicine to help all your health needs. Diabetic management, hypertension, pain management, and anti-aging are just a few of the services offered by the Ayers family. Call 352-512-0222 today, and Ayers Therapeutic Services will help you begin to understand that better health begins with you.
Commercial bank approval. Vehicle purchase process fixed rate alone.
Is your old car dead? Then declare your independence and say yes to red, white, and you in a nicer, newer car.
Chris Spears from Prestige Auto Sales, your dealer for the people. This month we want to help you get approved.
Even if you've heard no in the past, we believe you deserve to drive a nicer, newer car today.
Past credit problems are welcome here. We look at the story behind the score to help you drive a nicer, newer car today. So pop into action and zoom into a nicer, newer car faster than you ever thought possible.
Worried about firecrackers on your credit report? My For the People credit approval process is the bomb. We work with the banks and lenders who want you to declare your independence.
Plus, right now you could save up to $4,000 depending on the car you choose. But hurry, this deal's done once we've helped 77 people blast off in a nicer, newer car. I'm Chris Spears, a dealer for the people.
Visit Prestige on Highway 200 in Ocala, online at prestigefree.com, or call 694-1234. Yes, 694-1234. See you at Prestige.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. As the GOP convention gets underway, demonstrators for and against presumptive presidential nominee Donald Trump making some noise.
Simultaneous pro-Trump unity and anti-Trump rallies coexisting peacefully. Police at the ready, extra jail space available in case things get out of hand, and courts open to process arrestees 20 hours a day.
Fox's Jeff Locke in Cleveland. Democratic counterpart Hillary Clinton at the NAACP convention in Cincinnati, touching on the Baton Rouge killing of 3 police officers.
As president, I will bring the full weight of the law to bear in making sure those who kill police officers are brought to justice.
The Democratic convention next week in Philadelphia. Utah officials say a man who died of the Zika virus had passed it on to a caregiver, but they say the two had no sexual contact and the type of mosquito that spread Zika isn't found in that area. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Yeah, your toilet's definitely clogged, but I think I found the problem. Sir, is this your action figure?
Yes, I sent him in to check out the pipes.
As a small business owner, you've got enough to deal with. Let the experts at Progressive insure your business so you can focus on more important things. With over 30 commercial, auto, and business coverage options, we'll build a plan that's right for you.
I got something else. Are these toy cars?
Had to send in backup.
Visit ProgressiveCommercial.com to get started. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
I'm Rob Gronkowski. When the little voice in my stomach gets hungry, he doesn't just whisper. He yells, "We need all-natural Alberto beef jerky." So next time the little voice in your stomach asks for a snack, grab the most delicious lean protein on the planet, Alberto beef jerky. Each package is loaded with savory cuts of lean beef. Listen to me and pick up some all-natural Alberto beef jerky.
Alberto beef jerky. You get out what you put in.
Refers to Alberto's all-natural line of beef jerkies. Minimally processed, no artificial ingredients.
RL here to tell you how to deal with this heat wave. Get on down to Dairy Queen at Silver Springs. They have a blizzard waiting for you to cool off with. What a great treat in many different flavors. Or get one of our juicy char-grilled burgers with the #1 rated milkshake in America. So come on down to Dairy Queen at Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
Hey Ocala, this is Kelly Hart, Executive Editor of Ocala Magazine. Did you know last year Ocala Magazine won more awards in excellence than any other publication in Florida? And this year, Ocala Magazine was named Best Consumer Magazine in the state. Now you can join me every Friday at 10 a.m. on Ocala Magazine Radio, where we bring the pages of Ocala Magazine to life, right here on The Source. Ocala Magazine thanks you for making us #1. And remember, there is only one Ocala Magazine.
Hey, I'm Gary. And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
Hi, this is Mayor Kent Gwynn. Have you ever wondered what the younger generation thinks? Well, here's the chance to find out. The Mayor and the Millennials coming soon to WOCA 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
WWWWOCA, WWWWOCA.
1370 WOCA.
Welcome back to the Voice of Ocala on a Monday afternoon. So the Republican National Convention, the RNC National Committee, the Republican Convention gets underway today. It's already underway now in Cleveland at the Quicken Loans Arena. I was watching coverage this morning, and I was watching Dan Gilbert, the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Mm-hmm. Let me just point out, this guy's not, the only thing I knew about Dan Gilbert until this morning was he owned the Cavaliers, that he loves LeBron now, but 3 years ago he hated LeBron and wrote him a scathing letter.
Did he really?
Oh, yeah. When he left to go to Miami. But Dan Gilbert's a very, very intelligent guy who Dan Gilbert could run for office. He'd have to take a pay cut, but he could run for office. You know, he's actually one of the finalists to buy Yahoo. That they thought the announcement might come out today on the sale of some of the Yahoo. So, but they were also talking about the wife of Donald Trump,
which she is very pretty, by the way.
Melania Trump. She's a Slovene American jeweler and watch designer and former model. She's of course married to Donald Trump. When she became a model, she was in architect school.
Really?
She was in university to be an architect, but she got discovered. She was part of Yugoslavia, was where she was born. It was Yugoslavia then. She grew up in a modest, apartment, so she just, was going to be an architect and then got discovered and became a model. Well, now she's married to Donald Trump, and she could be our first lady if Donald Trump wins the presidency? Well, the last non-American, the last foreign first lady, do you know who that was?
Abigail Adams.
Abigail Adams was the last foreign first lady because she was not born in the United States. Of course, we didn't have the United States then, but Abigail Adams was not born on this continent. That's the last first lady that wasn't born on this continent. That's quite amazing. And Donald Trump, very few presidents, he'd be the only one to have three, but it is on his third wife.
She's 24 years younger than him.
Yeah, she's 41 years old, 42, 46, okay.
Trump is 70.
Yeah.
Oh
he would be the
gosh.
oldest president to take
Hillary
office.
is 68.
Yeah. Trump would be the oldest president elected to office if he wins.
That is insane.
Hillary would be the second oldest president elected to office if she wins.
Oh my gosh.
Because Ronald Reagan right now is the oldest president elected to office.
He was 69?
Yeah. So, but this, the Republican National, and another unprecedented move, usually the nominee doesn't, hear from the nominee until Thursday when he gives his speech to accept the nomination. There's spots for Trump tonight, tomorrow night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night.
Really? When usually they only have one time spot.
Right. And it's very unusual this year, too, that none of the Bushes will be there. So no former living Republican presidents will be there.
He probably doesn't support Trump.
The last presidential nominee will not be there. The nominee before that will not be there.
Why?
In Mitt Romney and John McCain.
Did they give reasons?
They just don't support Donald Trump.
That is
But
insane.
people are saying, we don't know if he needs them there because we're saying that they're not there and that doesn't look right and the optics are terrible, but everything he's done we've said is not right and he still won the nomination. So maybe he's changing the narrative to be a different thing. And the thing is, what does Jeb Bush, George H.W. Bush, Mitt Romney, and John McCain all have in common?
They're Republicans?
They're all career politicians.
What does that mean? That their
Politics are their job.
Are their job, whereas he was a businessman.
And he said, we don't need Washington. We need people that aren't under the control of Washington. So it's going to be very interesting. I will tell you this. It's the first time in probably 15, 20 years that I thought there was a reason to watch one of these conventions. Because they're really just stump speeches and, thumping the chest and saying, oh, look at us, good Republicans. Oh, look at us, good Democrats. That's all it is. It's 4 days where you get to, either party gets to control the narrative and nobody gets to argue with you because you don't allow that. So, and usually it's just, it's boring. It's repetitive. It is the same thing said over and over, just sandwiched different by different people, but it's all the same message. I'm very interested to see what takes place. Because, by the way, there's some people that were supposedly going to be there. Like it was rumored last week, Tim Tebow was going to be there. Tim Tebow had to go on Facebook and Twitter and go, look, I'm not going to the Republican National Committee convention. I'm not going to the Republican convention. So, going to be a lot of it looks like there's going to be more star-studded than politicians there. A lot of music. It looks like it's going to be back to what it was in the days when I remember my mother went as a delegate, as a Florida delegate to the 76 convention, Democratic convention, the one that nominated Jimmy Carter. Mm-hmm. And she has pictures, and we have a family photo album of her at the convention. And it just looked like a raucous good time where people got together and said, yeah, this is our guy. Now, it didn't turn into, I'm sure they did some serious stuff there too. But it's become, when I was a kid, these conventions took the whole week. I mean, on TV, ABC, NBC, and CBS, there was no programming on. It was a convention on all three channels.
It's crazy.
From like 6 o'clock at night to it was time to go to bed. It was just a convention.
Mm-hmm.
That's what played on all three networks. If you look, CBSN, the CBS News channel, they will be playing it. MSNBC and CNBC will be playing it, not NBC. Fox News will be playing it. CNN will be playing it. But Fox, ABC, they're not going to play it. They're going to run regular programming. But you can find it on one of the 24-hour cable news cycles or, CBS, NBC, and ABC's equivalents of the cable news network. So I'm looking forward to it. I know a lot of people aren't. I tell you what, you won't be able to learn much about the opposite side of the issue. But if you want to know what the Republicans think, tune in a couple hours a night for the next 3 nights. You'll find out exactly what Republicans think. Like, one of the platforms is the Republicans think that the national park should be turned over to the individual states that they're part of. That the federal government shouldn't be in the business of running parks. That those parks should be individually turned over to whatever states they're in. Because the national government doesn't need to pay for those parks. The individual states could pay for them. You know who the largest single landowner is in this country? Federal government. They own 22% of all the land in this country, and it's called national parks.
That's nice.
But the Republican platform says that they don't think the federal government should be in the park business. That should be a state business. And, a lot of people say states can run places inside their own borders a lot better than somebody can run it from Washington, D.C. So, does it have merit? I don't know. You make your own decision there. I think this is going to be – I watched a piece on CBS this morning that had 60 undecided voters in a room. And they asked them some very pointed questions about the upcoming election. The prevailing thought was that this shocked me too. Donald Trump was more trustworthy than Hillary Clinton.
I could see that.
Yeah. People think out of these undecided voters, in the 60 in the room, the majority of them thought Donald Trump was more trustworthy than Hillary Clinton. The majority of them, though, thought that they were going to have to cast a vote for the lesser of two evils. That they no longer have anybody that's optimistic. They're having to cast a vote for the lesser of two evils. And they're not sure what the lesser of two evils are at this point. That's a sad narrative coming out of that room. These are undecided voters. These are not people that are going to vote Republican or Democrat. These are people who have no idea how they're going to vote, still have to make their decision. And one lady said, I'm tired of every time I have to go to the ballot box putting a clothespin on my nose because it stinks so bad. And the guy said, literally or figuratively, she said, oh no, it's a very clean area I go to, but both candidates stink so bad I have to put the figurative clothespin on my nose to go into the ballot booth. That's a sad, sad narrative in our country, in my opinion. Hey, coming up in hour number 2, Buddy Martin joins the show at 4:40. He will have on Mark Bladschen of TMG Sports, and they're going to talk about Big 12 expansion. Joe Williams will talk Pac-12 and Big 12 expansion as well. Franz Beard will be along to talk Gator football. All that yet to come on a Monday edition of the Voice of Ocala. We'll be back after this time out to wrap up the first hour right here on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Who doesn't love heading out on the boat with a family, hitting the ATV trails with friends, or blazing new stretches of highway with riding buddies? Your toys are your ticket to outdoor fun. At the McDonald Allstate Agency, we get to know you and help make sure you have all the right coverages. Plus, when you bundle your coverage for your car and your home with your boat, motorcycle, RV, or more, you can save up to 30%. So call the McDonald Allstate Agency today at 622-2333 or stop by one of our 2 Ocala locations at Calla Hills or the Jasmine Square Plaza.
Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Savings vary.
Have you been diagnosed with BPH or an enlarged prostate gland? Are you tired of getting up at night to visit the bathroom? You may be eligible for the Equinox study, a clinical research study of an investigational drug to reduce the number of times you wake up to urinate at night, a condition known as nocturia. To qualify, you must be male, be at least 18 years of age, have been diagnosed with BPH, have been bothered by nocturia for at least 1 year, and meet additional study requirements. Qualified participants will receive all study medication and study-related care from a dedicated team of medical staff at no cost. Health insurance is not required to participate. Again, the Equinox study is for males, ages 18 and older, who are diagnosed with BPH and have been bothered by nocturia for at least 1 year. To find out more and to see if you qualify, please call 1-352-234-8436. That's 1-352-234-8436.
Do you like Vietnamese food? Well, come to Kim Long's, Ocala's one and only Vietnamese restaurant. The goal of Kim Long's is to capture the authenticity of the Vietnamese homeland and get a taste of other influences within the Vietnamese cuisine. They're open Monday through Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., Sundays, 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. You can make reservations by calling 352-236-5791. That's Kim Long, Ocala's only Vietnamese restaurant.
On the next AM Ocala Live, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin answering your gardening questions on In the Garden with Carol Ann.
News Bites, the hottest news and current events served bite-sized.
And then Matt Gibbs talking about cars on auto repair with personal care.
Becky Wade is a professional long-distance runner. She'll be speaking about her new book, Run the World.
And then Dr. Richard J. Benjamin and Dr. Arthur Bracey coming on to speak about protecting our blood supply against the Zika virus. All of that plus fun with Joe on the next AM Ocala Live.
Veterans are the foundation upon which our freedom is built. Listen to The Source, WOCA, each Thursday at 9 a.m. to Veterans News with Hank Whittier from Vets Helping Vets. You'll hear tributes, information on veterans issues, and stories that will make you laugh, cry, and feel proud. Veterans News always focuses on the military, past and present, and on our first responders. Veterans News is brought to you each week by Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery, keeping you blooming since 1952.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Putting the local back into radio. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
WOCA.
This is WOCA, News Talk 1370.
Welcome back to the Voice of Ocala. On a Monday afternoon, let's go out to the phone lines. Buddy Martin joins us with what's coming on tap today for today's show. Buddy, good afternoon.
Hey, Tom, how you doing? Yeah, we do have, I gave you the wrong pronunciation. It's Mark Blod. I forgot the H pronunciation. Blodge. Formerly at Boston Globe, now with TMG's new sports site on college football. Very knowledgeable guy. We'll talk to him about athletic directors. Some of the names been bandied about at some of the schools, including Florida's, and also whether or not Big 12 is up for expansion and or what will happen there. Maybe you'll be a familiar name involved there. And, of course, Joe Williams, who follows both the Pac-12 and Big 12, will be joining us today on the program as well. I just wanted to say that, you know, we've all had kind of a weekend to forget. I mean, it's just been so brutal for everybody, and I had a few thoughts on that. I wondered, you know, really when you get right down to it, what, if anything, can be done about the situation? We've all got our ideas. You had a lot of rhetoric, but what can be done about it? I want to pose that question to everybody there at the studio as well as people on listening on the radio. What can be done about the current situation where we basically almost have a civil war going on right here? So,
yeah.
We'll talk about that and whether or not a politician can do anything. That's the question. So I'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Buddy Martin on his way in for hour number 2 of the Voice of Ocala. You know, he makes some very good points. We're in the middle of a presidential election. We're in the middle of a county election. But can a change of the guard or can a change in policy and politics help or hurt? Because those undecided voters, when they were asked what word, Hillary Clinton, that you used to say was the reason you would or wouldn't vote for Hillary Clinton, everybody in the room said trustworthy. That's why they would or wouldn't vote for Hillary Clinton. Everybody said Donald Trump, the word was hate. So one they thought wasn't trustworthy, and the other one they thought promoted hatred. That's terrible that these undecided voters think that you're untrustworthy and you promote hate. And by the way, after looking into these investigations about the email, looks like she's untrustworthy. Donald Trump saying Mexicans are rapists, and he doesn't like women. He's got misogynist things to say about women, and he keeps making statements that could be deemed as hate speech. I see how they came up with the word hate for Donald Trump.
His wife said that he didn't say Mexicans, he referred to them as illegal immigrants. That was her take on it.
He said illegal immigrants from Mexico.
That was what she said on the matter.
I understand. And, you know,
What did you expect her to say?
We can argue semantics, but I think that the undecided voters touched on it perfectly.
It's true.
They're going to have to go in and hold their nose and vote. And I think the people we should apologize to as Americans are you guys. People who are in their first electoral cycle. And this is what you get for your first election. This is what we as American citizens have given you guys. Complete dung. That's what we've given you. Only because that's the only word I could say that would get it. Hey, Jake Perkins just walked in the room. You know the feeling I just got when Jake walked in? Jake with that shirt on. All of a sudden the Jimmy Dean breakfast sausage commercial where the sun walks in. The guy dressed like the sun walks in. That's what it looks like. Jake Perkins he's rocking the orange today.
Just trying to brighten up the situation a little bit.
I'm wearing my glasses. So Buddy Martin on his way in, and Buddy, like I said, I think he makes a good point. It's very difficult to say is a policy change or a political change going to help what is going on in the world right now and going on right here in our own borders. It's very frustrating to have every Monday we have to talk about this. This is the Voice of Ocala. Coming up next, hour number 2, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Do you suffer with frequent migraines? If you've experienced several migraines each month for at least the past year, you may qualify for a clinical research study. To find out more information about this study, please call Rinstar Medical Research in Ocala at 352-629-5800. All study medications and study-related procedures are at no cost to you, and insurance is not required. Compensation for time and travel will be provided. Again, if you suffer frequent migraines, please call Rinstar Medical Research in Ocala at 352-629-5800. That's 352-629-5800. Rinstar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. Need a car? Need financing? Need somebody to cut through the red tape and send you rolling down the highway? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Got great credit and just prefer a quality pre-owned car at a fair price from somebody you can trust? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Want to avoid high pressure to feel appreciated and be able to choose from a wide selection of AutoCheck and Carfax certified vehicles? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Prestige Auto Sales in Ocala. Prestige. It's all there in our name.
From beautiful townhomes to equestrian estates, Golden Ocala Golf and Equestrian Club provides the perfect haven of elegance for any homeowner. Not to mention our championship golf course, award-winning tennis program, state-of-the-art spa, and new luxury equestrian suite. We offer an array of membership options to suit a variety of lifestyles. Call 352-369-6969 today for more information about our latest real estate offerings.
My name is Bo Briggs. I'm a sixth-generation Ocalan, and I practice law with my father at the Briggs Law Firm. Over the years, we've seen many changes to Ocala and many changes in our profession. What has not changed is our commitment to our clients. You will speak with and get to know your attorney. That will never change. A lawyer will personally handle your case, not a paralegal. So if you've been injured in an accident and would appreciate personal attention, you can reach us at 671-4600 or learn more at thebriggslawfirm.com.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
Hospice of Marion County has an urgent need for volunteers to share a conversation with someone, run errands, hold someone's hand. All you need is a willingness to help others. Our volunteers believe the blessings they receive far exceed the services they offer. Will you consider serving, caring, and making a difference? Call today, 873-7441. Hospice of Marion County, making more moments of life possible.
Hi, this is Vanessa Lane Jennings with the Jennings Law Firm, located here in beautiful Ocala. Join me every single Friday at 10:30 for Legal Lane. We'll be discussing various legal topics such as family law, criminal law, contracts, and much more. So this is your chance to call in with your legal questions and have them answered. That's every Friday, 10:30, right here, WOCA, The Source.
Hi, this is Mayor Kent Gwynn. Have you ever wondered what the younger generation thinks? Well, here's the chance to find out. The Mayor and the Millennials coming soon to WOCA 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
WWWWOCA, WWWWOCA.
We are The Source, WOCA. Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio. I'm Paul Stevens. Protesters gathering in Cleveland for the first day of the Republican National Convention.
We don't have a message to Donald Trump except that he needs to be silenced completely and totally. That his message is what we're reacting to. That he's allowed to continue to spill his hate in this country.
The Day One RNC theme is Making America Safe Again. Top Democrats also in Cleveland trying to show differences between them and the GOP and saying that Republicans will show
the extremism and divisiveness, bigotry, racism, and total lack of preparation that Donald Trump represents is on full display.
DNC Chair Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Democrats gathering next week in Philadelphia. Another Baltimore police officer acquitted today on all charges in the death of Freddie Gray, fatally injured in the back of a police van last year. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Yeah, your toilet's definitely clogged, but I think I found the problem. Sir, is this your action figure?
Yes, I sent him in to check out the pipes.
As a small business owner, you've got enough to deal with. Let the experts at Progressive insure your business so you can focus on
More important things? With over 30 commercial, auto, and business coverage options, we'll build a plan that's right for you.
I got something else. Are these toy cars?
Had to send in backup.
Visit ProgressiveCommercial.com to get started. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
I'm Rob Gronkowski. When the little voice in my stomach gets hungry, he doesn't just whisper. He yells, "We need all-natural Alberto beef jerky." So next time the little voice in your stomach asks for a snack, grab the most delicious lean protein on the planet, Alberto beef jerky. Each package is loaded with savory cuts of lean beef. Listen to me and pick up some all-natural Alberto beef jerky.
Alberto beef jerky. You get out what you put in.
Refers to Alberto's all-natural line of beef jerkies. Minimally processed, no artificial ingredients.
Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
I'm just sick of all the amateur stuff, you know? I mean, like, if I'm paying top dollar, I want a little production value, you know? Like some editing, transition, something, some music.
Don't worry, we didn't leave you.
He's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Our bosses say we gotta stay.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei. It's time for the second hour of the Voice of Ocala.
Hoo-ah! You ever come across anything like time travel?
Come on, stick around. It's free.
If you win, you win. If you lose, you still win.
Now, welcome to a Monday edition of the Voice of Ocala, hour two of the program. Buddy Martin joining the show in progress, and we have a lot to talk about today. A lot of football to cram in this week as we get counted down on our countdown for the kickoff, and we'll tell you about that in just a moment because it's coming. And I am on assignment here next week, so I'll be out and about, and I will be checking in from time to time to see what all the guys are doing back here, and ladies, I might add. But I wanted to just say before I mention this special event coming up on September the 2nd, in my mind it's fairly significant, but I will admit I have a vested interest, so probably not as big to you as it is to me, but it's significant because it's the beginning of a national tour. But I just want to start the show by saying I know you're all like me, that you just don't want to turn the news on right now. And the news being the bad news, I know the Republican convention is going on. There'll be some of that, and we'll watch a little of that here and there. But my thoughts turned inward this past weekend. I don't think we can pontificate or stand on a soapbox and throw out rhetoric and change things. What we're going through with now is going to be painful. It's probably going to get worse. But I'm not a prophet, and I can't tell you what's going to happen. I can tell you how it feels to me, how it feels to those people around me, and I know it's hurting a lot of people. And I pose this today because we're all talking about answers. And if we think for 1 second the guy in the White House or the people in Congress, the Capitol, or the Tallahassee or any place else are going to change the whole situation we're dealing with right now, I can tell you 100% that's not right. They're just in it like we are. And they don't have any magic bullets. And I hate to use that phrase, but that's used another way. So I've been thinking about that a lot over the weekend, trying to think, well, what do you do? You got to start with yourself. I'm only accountable for me right now, and I got to figure out what, if anything, I can do about it. And maybe nothing. But I have to at least reflect on that and think about it. And before I launch into my full-blown philosophical talk here, this has no hidden meaning and no agenda. I heard one of the cops, in fact, it was the Baton Rouge chief of police, say this, and it's so true. And it speaks to the thing I mentioned last week without getting all religious on you or saying that I'm espousing one kind of God or the other, because some have different beliefs. But until we learn to value life as sacred, we got nothing. I'm not talking about a political agenda on abortion or like that's not what this is about. Just valuing life, period. Until we learn to value life in some fashion
basically we're left with nothing. And I don't know how that's going to happen. I know that despite the times that I've been through in my lifetime with the president being assassinated, Martin Luther King being assassinated, Bobby Kennedy being assassinated, a world war, Vietnam conflict, Korea, and all this stuff, I've seen some dark days in this country. You ought to live in the 60s. You want to watch some dark days. And I know that there were times when we looked like we had lost our way, and times it sure felt like that. I lived in a community where the flag was turned upside down. And that's because that's how they felt about their country. And the first time I ever heard the chant USA, USA, USA was at Lake Placid at Olympic Games in 1980. And I thought, well, maybe we've turned the corner on something here. So it's easy to wrap yourself in some political philosophy or flag or religion or something, some belief that you have and say, well, I got it all figured out here. Well, guess what? You don't. And so I start that out today by just saying, if we could just take some small steps, and I heard a number of people say over the weekend on the news, I heard councilmen, I heard elected politicians, I heard chief of police, I've heard all kinds of people say the same thing, that we have got to endure more here yet before it gets better. And we better get ready for it. And quite frankly, you can take this however you want to take it. We need an awakening. You can call it spiritual or otherwise. Until we have an awakening in this country and realize where we're going, it's not going to be pretty. And I talked to a man the other day who happened to use the old cliche, a man of the cloth, a person who, a friend of mine who's a pastor, and he's always been so upbeat, and he still is upbeat. Loves his country, and loves a very loyal, patriotic guy, and always says good messages in his church and what have you. And he said, I've never been an end times preacher. You heard those people, right? Doomsday, the world's coming to an end, etc. Yep. But more and more, the things that I see, I might have to change my mind. Now, that's where we are right now in this country. That's where we are with a lot of good people who are thinking. So I say that with a heavy heart. I look at Jake, who's, and Christine, who are young people who got a long life to live. I wish I could tell them it's going to be okay. I think it will, but I don't know that. So we're kind of all in this together. We had the bomb growing up, where the bomb was, we had to worry about running and hiding for being bombed. That's why you have your own bomb here right now. It's in your country. So that's what we have. I want to get that off my chest today and say it and get it out there and say, sorry if I ruined your Monday, but I thought we just have to say, look, we don't have the answers. We don't know what they are. I do know one thing. We have to continue to have dialogue, and the factions have got to come together and discuss things besides ideology. You can't just come together and say, here's what you ought to do. Well, no, that's not what it is. It's like, what do you think we ought to do? And listen first and foremost.
You and I at times have been at odds with each other ideology-wise and politics-wise. But you're 100% correct. We have to there are people dying in the streets. I don't give a damn if you're a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, black, white, purple. Human beings are dying on a daily basis. This is the third Monday in a row I've started a show talking about humans being gunned down in the streets of the world. We have to come together as a people and have good dialogue and honest dialogue about what we can do to stop the atrocity of this inhumane behavior.
And by the way, it's not just in this country.
No, it's in the world.
And
people are being run over with trucks.
I watched a live event of Fold'em in Turkey over the weekend. It's
2,000 people.
A live event, like watching a sporting event. Look at this. They're taking there's an insurrection. The military's
2,000 people injured in Turkey. 84 people killed by truck in France. If you look at all the people that have been killed in France in the last year and a half, we should be ashamed of ourselves if we're complaining what's going on here.
Yeah.
But it's just something's got to be done, buddy. Something's got to stop it.
As I say, in a small way, we'll just do what we can do. Take our little baby steps and pray and hope that things are going to be all right. I leave this open-minded. I'm sitting here preaching. I want Jake and Christine, if you want to chime in after the break, you're welcome to do that. Don't feel compelled to. And above all, don't think you have to have the answer, because that is not the answer. I know I don't have the answer. I'm looking for answers. I just know people got to talk. There has to be some kind of awakening in this country. We have to come to respect each other. One of the greatest things I've seen in this whole thing, a lot of times great stuff comes out of bad stuff, just so you know, was the two groups that got together to protest. One pro-cop, one pro-African-American. And they were going to protest, opposite sides. And they got together and realized, and they began walking together and hugging each other and coming together. They're completely different points of view to protest about, and yet they came together. That, to me, is really kind of a metaphor for what we need in this country. We need people with opposite views to come together and say, hey, let's talk about this. Look, let's hug and let's work it out. Let's make it. Look, in your lifetime, when you get married, you too, and I'll tell you this, Tom knows he's been married before, and he's even married now more than he realizes. But anyway, you'll know this. There are going to be days. There are just going to be days when you think, how did I get in this and what do I do now? In anything. And you got to work it out with divergent opinions. When you know you're right is when you're in trouble, because you're not. But you could be right and still not be right, if you get what I mean, right, Tom?
You certainly can. And it's just, I don't know what the answer is. I just know that yesterday, I told Christine this in the first hour. When I saw photos of the Black Lives Matter rally yesterday, people exercising their constitutional right, that wasn't what grabbed my attention. It was that there had to be snipers on the roofs in Ocala, Florida. What world do we live in where in a community that I think is the best community on the face of the earth, outside of, Mickey Mouse, with snipers on the roof.
And no longer can we say it's just over in the Middle East and it's all their problem over there and it's Turkey and Syria and all this stuff. It's here. It's in our community, and it's here. And so hang on and pray a lot. I'll take a break, come back. If the millennials want to check in. Do you guys hate that nickname, by the way?
Christine loathes it.
Do you?
I can't stand it.
She hates it.
Well, let's just say, all right, then what would you like just to
the
call
younger
you?
generation?
Well, that's what they call our generation.
No, there's nothing wrong with being considered millennials. It's just the way that we're stamped is what drives me insane.
You can think about what you like to say. I'm trying to represent a point of view. I know you don't all agree. I understand that. I don't mean to lump you in. So if I did, I'd apologize. We come back, you give me another name, and I'll use it. All right, right here on the Voice of Ocala.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life. From everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's national magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz.
Hi, I'm State Farm agent Angie Lewis. Come see me and my team for all your insurance and financial needs in the beautiful downtown historic district, 416 East Fort King Street, or call 291-2444.
Who doesn't love heading out on the boat with a family, hitting the ATV trails with friends, or blazing new stretches of highway with riding buddies? Your toys are your ticket to outdoor fun. At the McDonald Allstate Agency, we get to know you and help make sure you have all the right coverages. Plus, when you bundle your coverage for your car and your home with your boat, motorcycle, RV, or more, you can save up to 30%. So call the McDonald Allstate Agency today at 622-2333 or stop by one of our 2 Ocala locations at Calla Hills or the Jasmine Square Plaza.
Subject to terms, condition, and availability. Savings vary.
My name is Bo Briggs. I'm a 6th-generation Ocalan, and I practice law with my father at the Briggs Law Firm. Over the years, we've seen many changes to Ocala and many changes in our profession. What has not changed is our commitment to our clients. You will speak with and get to know your attorney. That will never change. A lawyer will personally handle your case, not a paralegal. So if you've been injured in an accident and would appreciate personal attention, you can reach us at 671-4600 or learn more at thebriggslawfirm.com.
Located in Ocala, Rinstar Medical Research has offered a wide range of clinical research trials for 17 years. Rinstar conducts clinical trials for conditions such as migraines, memory decline, fibromyalgia, and sun-damaged skin. To learn more, call Renstar at 352-629-5800. Help us create a healthier tomorrow by volunteering today. Please call Renstar at 352-629-5800.
On the next AM Ocala Live, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin answering your gardening questions on In the Garden with Carol Ann.
News Bites, the hottest news and current events are bite-sized.
And then Matt Gibbs talking about cars on auto repair with personal care.
Becky Wade is a professional long-distance runner. She'll be speaking about her new book, Run the World.
And then Dr. Richard J. Benjamin and Dr. Arthur Bracey coming on to speak about protecting our blood supply against the Zika virus. All of that plus fun with Joe on the next AM Ocala Live.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
What if a hiring manager asks questions they're not supposed to? Politely say, I prefer not to discuss my religion or my marital status or whatever it is, but I promise it won't interfere with my ability to do the job. Ladies, if you're trying to make a good impression on a man, listen up. Don't worry about small flaws in your appearance, because chances are he won't notice. It's not the cooking that makes the fish stink. It's what happens to the fish before it hits the flame.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Some would say that this country is in the toilet. Some would even go so far as to say the economy is going down the drain. But we say, if water runs through it, we do it.
Hi, I'm Sean Scott, owner of Mike Scott Plumbing, and I approve this message.
Putting the local back into radio. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
This is James Snyder, inviting you to join me each Sunday morning at 9:30 for Sunday Joy on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM.
You're listening to WOCA, Ocala.
Welcome back to the Voice of Ocala. Buddy Martin, Tom Schmitz, Jake and Christine, also known as the young people. I don't know what to call them. Just call them Jake and Christine, I guess, and Anita, whoever shows up. Tom, before we get into this other discussion, I want to emphasize the importance of a significant event coming up in our community, which I'm very proud of. I don't want to over promote it because it's something that I'm involved in.
It's a big deal. Yeah, okay, look, I know how you don't like to self promote and everything, but this is a huge deal. It's a national signing kickoff, and it's the countdown to kickoff, and it goes from SEC Media Days all the way through September 2nd. And September 2nd, the kickoff for a national book campaign, where there will be signings all over the country. There'll be signings here, Gainesville, Columbia, South Carolina, New York. There'll be signings everywhere. And it kicks off September 2nd right here in Ocala, Florida. It's the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier, and his national signing tour. He's going to do his book tour. And it kicks off right here in Ocala. And there are people that have partnered with us.
Yes, they have. I appreciate them stepping up and doing that for this and other things.
Right. HDG Hotels.
Yeah, I spoke to Azim today. We had a nice conversation, and he's going to be there. He loves the Gators, loves Spurrier. He and both Navras both, so they'll be there.
The McDonald Allstate Agency.
Kevin's a big Gator fan. He'll be there. Yeah.
The Briggs Law Firm. By the way, Ocala natives who fight for accident victim justice.
Yes, they do. And Randy and Bo will both be there. Bo's an FSU fan.
You know the thing about the Briggs Law Firm, when you go in there, you don't get to talk to a paralegal. You talk right to a lawyer.
You do.
Right to a lawyer. Yeah. Randy Briggs and Bo Briggs. So
do.
Them, and also Griner's Men's Clothing.
Yes. Had me looking good up in SEC Media Days, I might add.
They could. I've been told they could probably make me look okay.
Well, maybe.
Not good, but okay.
You got to spend some cash now.
Well, I know.
It's not like, it isn't like, no offense, like Walmart, But I shop at Walmart too, by the way. But when you want to look something special, nice, If you go down and see David at Grinders, and Jake knows about this. Everybody who's ever grown up here knows about Grinders.
So those 4 sponsors are invaluable.
Appreciate
to
that.
the countdown for kickoff.
We do, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be neat. It's going to be neat to have it, and that's of course the weekend. You'll be doing that night. You will only be able to come by for a minute. Cause I guess I'll have to have Jake come in and fill in for you out there because you got to go do a high school game that night.
Yes, it'll be the what game is it? It's a very important game that weekend too. It's
so important you can't remember it.
It's the second week. It's the second week. Well, they're all running together.
Like my weekends.
It's the second week of high school football. It will be North Marion Colts at the Forest Wildcats.
Okay.
I will only be able to pop in for a minute.
Well, but you'll be able. But you don't have to drive to Lake Weir or someplace. You'll be right around the corner.
Forest Wildcats. I don't know if you know where Forest High School is.
Oh no,
but where the book signing. Not the Forest you went to.
No. You forget where I live.
Right.
I live off of 17th. I know where Forest
You know what the beauty of it is, though? Now with that new flyover and everything that's been in existence a couple of years, it's really not that difficult to get from where the book signing at Barnes & Noble will be to Forest High School.
Tom, you don't have to be there at 4:30 to eat hamburgers. You can show up at a normal time like most broadcasters at 6:45 and do it,
No, I got to get there and get set up.
Sure you do. Set up and get you a burger and kicker, argue with the referees and all that stuff.
Nothing to do with boiled peanuts and hamburgers.
By the way, happy birthday. It's early, but happy birthday.
Yeah, it's way early, but I understand. Well, what's today, the 18th?
Yeah.
So it's 9 days early.
So
had a great dinner last night, though, thanks to you and Joni for my birthday.
Hey, listen, it was our honor, and I told them to put it on your check, so I don't know what to show.
So that's why my debit card was a little light.
Actually, I told them to put on Jennifer's check. I felt a little better about that.
Then that came out of my account, too. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk for a minute about our discussion earlier and let the young people to be named later tell us what they think. How you feeling? Jake, how you feeling about it right now? You're worried, you're concerned, you feel good, you're confident. What's your position on it?
There's a lot of concern. And, I'm a sophomore in college. I got a long life to live, hopefully. And just a lot of questions, buddy. And it's concerning to know that there are these kind of things going on, not just here, but abroad as well. And a lot of things that, like you said, I couldn't agree more. I don't think anybody has the answer to. Some of the terrible things that have been going on, whether it be 84 people that are killed over the weekend across Nice, whether it be the terrible events that have happened just 100 miles south of us right here in Ocala. So many of these things are happening right here in our own backyard and around the globe to innocent people for reasons that really can't be explained is scary. And hopefully we can band together, not as, like Tom said, Republicans, Democrats, but as people of the human race that are in America, that are in France, that are everywhere, get together and look within and really soul search and figure out what it is we got to do to stop this, because it could lead to a lot of terrible things.
Well, you said something right there that I wanted to touch on before Christine gives us her thoughts. You know the Valvano quote, Tom, right?
Yeah, don't give up, don't ever give up.
No, not that one.
You got to laugh, cry. Mm-hmm. You got to think, laugh, and cry.
Yeah. The one that we forget about is the thinking part. We remember the laughing and the crying, it seems like. But the thinking part, and actually, I think there's several quotes of this.
That's pretty good.
One is to give thought. One he says good thought. One he says think. And I think that the most underrated one is to give thought, because we have got to start looking deeper than ourselves here for something and dig deep and find out what it is that you feel, what's your heart telling you, and whatever it is, act it out. And I don't mean violently. I'm talking about surely there's good in people somewhere. I know there is. And we've got to find that and bridge this gap and get it to the other side. And so that give thought and give thought, prayer, meditation, whatever it may be, to get us where we got to get back. Don't you agree, Christine?
I agree. And Jake made a lot of good points. So it's kind of hard for me to say anything different, but everything, it's just scary with the uncertainty, with everything that's happened, all the shootings, all of the events that have occurred in the past couple weeks. And I know it's just scary to see what's going to happen. And I agree that people need to come together, and instead of, fighting over such pointless things, to come together for one common cause. So that's my take on it.
Okay. Tom, you and I had this discussion last night briefly. You're a historian. As bad as things are, probably as bad as it's been in their lifetime for sure, and probably even in yours, but I've seen a few other things like wars that have been quite ugly. But we talked about this last night. And as bad as it is right now, it's been a lot worse in this world before.
It's been a whole lot worse. I mean, when you go back, and we just in the last 100 years, even with the killing that's going on and the lack of respect for life, you ask people in the 30s and 40s that were worried about lynching parties coming to their houses and taking people out of their beds and lynching them. You ask people that were getting robbed at knife point and gunpoint during the Depression that were, there's been a lot harder times and a lot times that were just as hard, if not worse, throughout history and in recent history. But that's nothing to talk about one man's struggle over a 3-day period and 12 apostles struggle with him, and the fright that they were, because here, if you go back to the crucifixion, here was a man who was being crucified on a cross, and the apostles were scared that they would. You said it yourself last night. The apostles were scared they were going to be next.
Yeah, their guy was gone. He's dead. And they're thinking, well, what have I got now? It's got to be had to be scary. And by the way, the other things like the flu epidemic, which killed millions of people, et cetera.
The Black Plague.
Lots
of things.
And by the way, don't forget the Civil War. So,
yeah.
All right, so we'll take a break, come back. We're going to talk some football on the other side with Mark Blodshun, who's the writer and editor of the new website, which I think you're going to enjoy if you like college football. Talk about the Big 12 and Mark Blodshun from TMG College Sports. Coming up next right here on the Voice of Ocala.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Bank approval. Vehicle purchase process fixed rate alone.
Is your old car dead? Then declare your independence and say yes to red, white, and you in a nicer, newer car.
Chris Spears from Prestige Auto Sales, your dealer for the people. This month we want to help you get approved.
Even if you've heard no in the past, we believe you deserve to drive a nicer, newer car today.
Past credit problems are welcome here. We look at the story behind the score to help you drive a nicer, newer car today. So pop into action and zoom into a nicer, newer car faster than you ever thought possible.
Worried about firecrackers on your credit report? My For the People credit approval process is the bomb. We work with the banks and lenders who want you to declare your independence.
Plus, right now, you could save up to $4,000 depending on the car you choose. But hurry, this deal's done once we've helped 77 people blast off in a nicer, newer car. I'm Chris Spears, a dealer for the people.
Visit Prestige on Highway 200 in Ocala, online at prestigefree.com, or call 694-1234. Yes, 694-1234. See you at Prestige.
Do you suffer with frequent migraines? If you've experienced several migraines each month for at least the past year, you may qualify for a clinical research study. To find out more information about this study, please call Rinstar Medical Research in Ocala at 352-629-5800. All study medications and study-related procedures are at no cost to you, and insurance is not required. Compensation for time and travel will be provided. Again, if you suffer frequent migraines, please call Rinstar Medical Research in Ocala at 352-629-5800. That's 352-629-5800. Rinstar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today.
Fox News Radio. I'm Paul Stevens. Protesters gathering in Cleveland for the first day of the Republican National Convention.
We don't have a message to Donald Trump except that he needs to be silenced completely and totally. That his message is what we're reacting to. That he's allowed to continue to spill his hate in this country.
The Day One RNC theme is Making America Safe Again. Top Democrats also in Cleveland trying to show differences between them and the GOP and saying that Republicans will show
the extremism and divisiveness, bigotry, racism, and total lack of preparation that Donald Trump represents is on full display.
DNC Chair Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Democrats gathering next week in Philadelphia. Another Baltimore police officer acquitted today on all charges in the death of Freddie Gray, fatally injured in the back of a police van last year. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Yeah, your toilet's definitely clogged, but I think I found the problem. Sir, is this your action figure?
Yes, I sent him in to check out the pipes.
As a small business owner, you've got enough to deal with. Let the experts at Progressive insure your business so you can focus on more important things. With over 30 commercial, auto, and business coverage options, we'll build a plan that's right for you.
I got something else. Are these toy cars?
Had to send in backup.
Visit ProgressiveCommercial.com to get started. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
I'm Rob Gronkowski. When the little voice in my stomach gets hungry, he doesn't just whisper. He yells, "We need all-natural Alberto beef jerky." So next time the little voice in your stomach asks for a snack, grab the most delicious lean protein on the planet, Alberto beef jerky. Each package is loaded with savory cuts of lean beef. Listen to me and pick up some all-natural Alberto beef jerky.
Alberto beef jerky. You get out what you put in.
Refers to Alberto's all-natural line of beef turkeys. Minimally processed, no artificial ingredients.
Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
Each morning, we wake up thankful to live in a free nation with liberty and justice for all. But sometimes those liberties can be put in jeopardy, and you may have questions about what to do or who to call. Let Doc Blanchard of Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland help you find the answers. Attorneys at law since 1974 and located in downtown Ocala. If you have legal issues, don't go it alone. Call 352-732-7218. Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland, helping protect your liberties every day. Attention passengers for Flight 1370. The plane has been delayed at its departure point and will be at least 2 hours late. We apologize for any inconvenience.
Are you serious? It took us over an hour to get here, 2 hours going through security and getting our tickets, and now we have to wait another 2 hours.
Yeah, it's beautiful here, but we're inside this overcrowded airport all day because the plane is stuck in bad weather.
This is the last time we ever do this. When we get back, we're going to Ocala Aviation and getting our pilot's license.
Yeah, we've been talking about that long enough. It's about time we did it. Then we could just fly ourselves and never have to deal with this mess again.
Right. No long lines, no full body groping security, no baggage checks.
Not to mention never losing your luggage. Remind me again why we haven't done that?
Well, we're idiots.
Oh, right.
Attention all passengers for Flight 1370. It looks like the plane is going to be delayed a little bit longer. The airline has lost the pilot's luggage. Isn't it time you got your pilot's license? Call Ocala Aviation today. 352-861-7484. That's 352-861-7484. Hey, you've earned it. Call today.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
Yep, we can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too.
Well, as a matter of fact, join me, Matt Gibbs from Sunrise Automotive, every Tuesday at 10 for auto repair with personal care right here on The Source.
Welcome back to the Voice of Ocala. Real quick, before we go out to the phone lines, let's get some updates on some stuff. Arian Foster, buddy, signed with the Miami Dolphins. Huge signing for the Miami Dolphins. Also, at the University of Florida, 2 freshmen at the University of Florida, football players from Jacksonville, arrested on campus Monday on charges of shooting in an occupied dwelling after BB guns were fired inside the Keys residential housing on campus. This according to the Orlando Sentinel. First-year freshmen Tyree Cleveland and Rick Anthony Wells were also charged with criminal mischief when they were booked into the Alachua County Jail. This all stemmed from a Friday night incident where 3 broken windows were found with small round holes in each. Officers reviewed surveillance video of the area and saw 2 men shooting at someone about 6:45. They identified the men as Cleveland and Wells. The latter turned over a BB gun. They were arrested and booked early Monday. Wells was recruited from Raines High School in Jacksonville last year. Cleveland was born in Jacksonville, moved to Texas to go to Houston High School. He was the number 2 receiver number 2 receiver in the country. So those 2 guys arrested on felony charges. That is the update. Coming up next, Mark Blodson. I can't get that last name right. Mark Blodson from TMG Sports. He'll be on with Buddy talking about the Big 12 and maybe some expansion. We'll hear from him next right here on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
The very best in quality is Captain T's Upholstery.
Hey, this is Dan. Let me ask you a few questions. Does your boat look better with the cover on? Has your car's interior seen its better days? Stop using a towel to cover up those rips in the golf cart. Isn't it about time you had it restored to better than new with a custom upholstery from Captain T? Captain T's Upholstery has been right here in Ocala for nearly 20 years, so they know how to make your ride one of a kind. Whether you want to take that classic ride back to a factory look or put your favorite sports team front and center, Captain T's Upholstery is who to call. 352-369-1810. That's 352-369-1810. Or stop by their location, 5030 South Pine Avenue in Ocala, just past the drive-in. And of course, don't forget to visit them on the web, CaptainTUpholstery.com.
The very best in quality is Captain T's Upholstery.
Hi, this is Mayor Kent Gwynn. Have you ever wondered what the younger generation thinks? Well, here's the chance to find out. The Mayor and the Millennials coming soon to WOCA 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. The Source.
WWWOCA, WOCA.
Welcome back to the Voice of Ocala. By the way, just to show you how chaotic things were over the weekend, 2 New York cops were assassinated. Executed. And it hardly even made, that would have been a headline.
Were they in Queens?
I think in Brooklyn. And I believe they were, so that would ordinarily be a screaming headline, and I'm sure it was in the Post and Daily News, but that's how things are, how bad things are right now. That 2 cops in New York get executed, and you didn't know that, did you, Christine?
I didn't.
Yeah, and I didn't. Jake probably didn't know either. So I time out to go out to the hotline and talk some college football, which we always love doing around here on our show. And it's always good to talk to an authoritative person, someone who's not just some blogger who came down the pike and decided to be an expert, but who really served his time in the vineyards and did it well. And a long-time college football columnist and writer, Mark Blodshun, now of TMG College Sports, an exciting new website. I'm anxious to check it out. I did read a couple of his things on there now. Mark Blodshun joins us now from TM College Sports. Mark, good to talk to you.
Hey, buddy. How are you doing?
Very good. Good to hear your voice again.
Yep, I'm good to be back in the game because I think we can have some fun with this. And college football is always college football. I mean, I get revved up this time of year, as I'm sure you do. So
absolutely, there's a lot to get revved up about. That's for sure. And I know, Mark, you did many years. You were a national writer for the Boston Globe, and you followed the game a long time. You know a lot about it, and so. Some of us graybeards, don't have people to talk to with any reference, so it's nice to have context, you know what I'm saying?
It's amazing. I mean, I get older every time I go, and everyone else gets younger. I said, how's this working? Because I don't feel old, like I'm sure you don't. So.
Right. The funny part about it, we're the guys that we used to say about those old guys in the press box. I wish they'd move over, get out of the way. We're those guys now.
Absolutely. Right. You're 100% right.
All right, Mark Blodshun of TMG College Sports.
Collegesports.com
on the show today. And Mark had an interesting column on the Big 12, and a couple of things I think really caught my eye. Among them, obviously, is the Baylor situation, which we're all kind of wondering about. I watched some of their media days on TV. We're all wondering what's going to happen at Baylor now that things are different than there's a new coach there coming in. But the most interesting thing to me, and we'll get to the Big 12 in a minute with Mark, but is the whole situation with expansion. I'm just kind of a conundrum to me exactly how the Big 12 kept stepping on its toe and missing the playoffs. And then one day had a duh moment and said, well, maybe we ought to have a playoff game after all. I don't know why it took so long to reach that conclusion. Maybe they thought they knew something that nobody else knew, Mark. But what was your take on that? Why didn't they come out with a playoff game?
Well, because they couldn't agree. I mean, they couldn't agree on anything. I mean, that's the problem. You had Texas versus Oklahoma just staring each other down, and what Texas wanted, Oklahoma didn't want, and they took sides, and then they had a stalemate. I mean, very seldom did they agree on anything. But I think, and I think there might be breaking news coming up in the next 2 days, because I just got, and we might even scoop here, buddy, is because Commissioner Bowlesby has come out and said that he's telling the presidents tomorrow, when they meet tomorrow in Dallas, that he thinks expansion is the way to go. And that's going to be his official recommendation. Okay.
Yes.
So that brings up an issue, and which I pointed out in the first thing I did for TMG College Sports, is there's one compromise out there that no one is talking about. And it was backed by some schools in the Big 12, and it's a compromise that I think everyone could live with, and that's to go affiliated with two teams, and one of them is BYU, because the problem with BYU is the Sunday issue, because they won't play. I mean, because of the Mormon affiliation, they won't play other sports on Sunday, so that kind of put them in a bind. But if they just join football only, and since they're a member of the West Coast Conference, they can do that easily, and just join the Big 12 as an expansion team in football. That solves one problem. So then you go, who do you want the other team? Well, everyone, Cincinnati's going, Houston's going for it. But the team that has the best chance of doing that for logistical reasons is the University of Connecticut. Because Connecticut's dream scenario is to be in the Big 12 in football and be back in the Big East in all the other sports. As someone told me, if that happened, they would close the state for a week, because they would be celebrating in stores in Hartford and everywhere else in the state because that would be their dream scenario. And that is a compromise that is on the board. As of Saturday, was still on the table. Nothing was off the table, as I was told. And so let's see what happens tomorrow. I mean, the presidents might say we're not going to do anything, but we might have that. And the most radical thing would be if they go to 12 teams with two teams of football only. So let's see what happens. It's a fascinating bit of business.
When it comes to Big 12 and you talk expansion, it gets interesting whether or not BYU would be that expansion team, as you called it earlier, or whether they would go out and seek somebody else besides BYU. And you mentioned earlier Connecticut. There's a couple of teams down south who have pretty good television markets. You know, their programs aren't up to speed at this point in time, but South Florida, of course, has the Tampa St. Pete mark, which is one of the top 15, and Orlando has Central Florida. You certainly in the numbers game, and you know this, Mark, about what drives what. The numbers game mean more dollars for everybody. Would that make either Orlando or Tampa more attractive to the Big 12?
It should, and I was stunned, because when this Big 12 expansion went around the first time, they were mentioning teams like Houston and Cincinnati and Memphis and UConn, and the Central Florida and South Florida weren't mentioned. And I said, why wouldn't you go there? And I couldn't get an answer from anybody. Why? I mean, it makes total sense when you put up all the points. I mean, you're in Florida, recruiting, television. I mean, everything you want. It goes into the heart of the SEC. So why wouldn't you make that move? And I still don't understand. And it makes sense to me. Now that might be on discussion too. So don't be surprised if that comes out of the blue, because I think if they listen to Commissioner Bowlesby, and he's got a pretty strong voice in there, and he gets Texas and Oklahoma to agree to it. I mean, Oklahoma's been pushing the expansion big time. Texas has been fighting it. But if that happens, well, that's also possible. And we've talked about this before. I was a big proponent for UCF in the Big East for 10 years before they even moved on it. I couldn't understand why you wouldn't go to UCF and build up the UCF South Florida rivalry as best you can. And finally, they got it right. After 15 years. But so anything can happen.
Well, it's a pretty good venue if you like Disney World to kind of travel into, so that kind of thing, not bad either. And the issue of athletic directors, you had an interesting comment there. I had a conversation with a couple of ADs in the SEC just last weekend, Greg McGarity of Georgia and Joe Oliva from LSU, and we talked about the prototypical AD today, because it's changed completely. Mark, back when we were covering, it was always the old football coach, right? Gets promoted. Right. And now with metrics and all the things we got now with business and compliance and all these issues, it's a different kind of person that needs to be the AD. And I couldn't nobody could figure out exactly what kind of AD Florida would be going after, except to say that both of them said the same thing about if they wanted an administrator, someone who would oversee the programs and be in the pure form, the athletic director, that would be one model. But there's also the fundraiser model out there,
right?
Which is one that you really, really have to think about. And this day and time is a very, very big thing too. So those are two models of them. What kind of modern AD do you think would be most attractive to schools today, depending on who the president is?
Well, I think Florida is such a different, because Florida is a state school, and it's obviously when things are going good, and Jeremy Foley did such a good job there for so long. I think the leader in the clubhouse should be Joe Castiglione from Oklahoma. I mean, he's proven that he can run it. I mean, he has some Florida roots a little bit, and he's good buddies with Jeremy. And I think he's had enough of the political games in Oklahoma with the president expansion. I mean, the one thing in Florida, you won't have to worry about expansion talk or where Florida's going. All he's got to do is make things right and go out and, like I said, fundraise, get facilities up to where they need to be. And Joe is very good at that. I mean, he's the chairman of the NCAA, basketball selection committee this year, I think. So he's got prestige. I mean, he'll probably lose that, but he's got the prestige in both sports. And he's a good guy, so I think if I had to do it, I would do that like now. I mean, that's what I would do. After that, you're right. They might go for a fundraiser. It depends on which direction that they want to go. And fundraisers are the ADs of the future, and I'm not happy with that. I think they've gone in bad directions because they don't see a lot of stuff they should see.
Yeah, for sure. And I think guys like Oliva, who had an MBA, Foley's background was in business. Obviously, he was a business manager for a long time. I guess it depends on the model. Well, back to the Big 12.
Yes, sir.
Baylor mess. I mean, the dumpster fire that has been Baylor. Art Briles, it's really significant to me, and I want to see if you share my thoughts about this, that a coach could be fired for an issue, a Title IX issue. It's more than that, as we know. But, I mean, why did it take Art Briles so long to pull his head out of the sand, if he ever did? And he's a terrific football coach. Let's just get that out there. He's a terrific coach.
Right.
I don't cover him. I can't tell you about his ethics and morals, whatever, but I know he can coach some ball. But he looked like he was at a time where he was just hit the lottery. Next thing you know, boom, he's out of there. Were you shocked by that?
Yes and no, because I mean, actually no, because he's a Texas high school football coach, and it's old school as you can get. And basically, the theory there is don't ask, don't tell. So stuff went on, it was like the Joe Paterno, just don't tell me about it, or take care of it. I mean, as long as we win the football games, can you play? And so he brought that element of kids in because they could win. And Baylor had to fight an uphill battle against Texas A&M and Texas and everyone else and TCU to get precedence in the state. And now in the last couple of years they went way past Texas and matched A&M with prestige and a lot of things they do. So all those things worked in his favor. So I mean, it was the good old boy mentality that carried him there. And then finally he got to the point though when he crossed the line here with all the sexual assault and all the stuff involved in his program that he couldn't escape it, and he still fought it to the end. When he was fighting it, he was fighting it till the very end, till he took the 7, whatever he got, and said, "Okay, I'm backing out." But that whole program had to be cleaned out. From the president went down, the AD went down, the coach went down. I mean, it's amazing.
It did, and it looked like similar to Penn State, which, by the way, the last report out of the Siegel reports came out was really ugly, and it kind of finally was the final straw for Joe Paterno, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think the statue is going back up anytime soon outside of State College. I mean, I think that's going to be put. I mean, even his strongest backers when they saw some of that testimony was like, oh my God, this is not good. And people, and then I see the guys who got implicated were Greg Schiano is now at Ohio State, and Don Bradley's now. So they denied it. Okay, they denied it happened. Those allegations and stuff. But my question there is why would someone who's in a grand jury under sealed orders lie about stuff? Why would he lie? What did they have to lose by so that made sense to me telling the truth. Now, obviously, if Bradley and Schiano was implicated, that would hurt them. So, it's he said, she said type of thing. So they're trying to skate past it. But it's really bad, and it just goes to it's just sad because how it all unfolded and how it was allowed to go on so long without being revealed.
The things we find out, as you say, lying always seems to be the things that get people in trouble, and somehow or another they continue to do so. Mark Bloodshine, new website up and running. Check it out if you like college football. He's got a couple of his good friends there also that do some great stuff.
And Herb Gould, right?
Yeah. And of course, their website is tmgcollegesports.com.
Collegesports.com.
Yeah, and we'll be looking at it. Now, here's the thing. I got about 2 minutes. And put your football glasses on and break down this Big 12 for me and tell me, is it going to be Oklahoma again? Is Texas ever going to revive, itself there? TCU seems to keep doing well every year. Baylor now is revamping. What does this all mean to the Big 12 race right now, Mark, in your eyes?
Right now, I think Oklahoma is clearly the leader in the clubhouse. Texas is still a year away from building. Baylor's going to go as long as they don't get any hurt. They've lost. I mean, their front line is still good, but they're any injuries or any kind of bailouts, and they're going to be off the chart. And TCU is up and down. I think Oklahoma's, big game. Bob will come through again. I think right through the season. I mean, they start out, early. They get through the first part of the season. They got Ohio State, in there, and they got Houston there. I think so. So they get undefeated in September. They're going to roll all the way, I think.
Well, I don't know how many now. I remember Steve Spurrier told me, but how many has Bob Stoops won, like 10 or 11 Big 12 championships?
It's up there. I don't know what the name is. And I think he kind of got revived a little bit. He's got the quarterback. He's got Mayfield. He's got the talent. The talent's there.
I like the quarterback.
All he's got to do is get him to play.
Yeah, I like the quarterback.
He's got deep running backs. And he's deep along. I mean, there's talent up and down the line. And he made a move last year. Almost got up there, and then just boom, fell short. So maybe this is the year. I think they can get to the Final Four. I mean, after that, who knows what happens? But I think they can get that far. And I think because of the Pac-12, I think could be out of the race by Labor Day. And I think they're in danger. And the SEC, obviously, the SEC as well as anyone in the world. So they produce one or two teams. And Clemson, Florida State, and then the Big Ten. Who knows? Is it going to be Harbaugh's year? I don't know. I mean, everyone loves Ohio State, but they lost 19. Starters from last year. I mean, that's a lot of rebuilding.
They keep reloading. We got 20 seconds, by the way. Bob Stoops has 9 Big 12 championships, just so we know. Mark, good luck to you on the new assignment and the new website. We look forward to reading you, and I'd like to have you back on again sometime.
And send me the coach's book when it comes out.
We'll do that. I'll put you on the list.
One of my all-time favorite coaches.
All right, okay? All right, Mark. Mine too. Thank you. All right, Mark Bloodshine.
Thanks, buddy.
From a website, you want to check it out, tmgcollegesports.com. We got coming up next. I believe we got Heath Klein, right, Tom? Heath Klein from Columbia. And we got we're loaded next hour with sports stuff. Stay tuned to Buddy Sports Pay coming up here in just a moment, right here on
1370 AM, 96.3 FM. We're live and local.
Can you make 5 seconds out of that?
The Source.
Your quality of life is meant to be fully enjoyed each day. The doctors at Ayers Global understand that and strive to provide a quality of life for you that has no equal. Ayers Therapeutic Services combines naturopathic and family medicine to help all your health needs. Diabetic management, hypertension, pain management, and anti-aging are just a few of the services offered by the Ayers family. Call 352-512-0222 today, and Ayers Therapeutic Services will help you begin to understand that better health begins with you.
Located in Ocala, Renstar Medical Research has offered a wide range of clinical research trials for 17 years. Renstar conducts clinical trials for conditions such as migraines, memory decline, fibromyalgia, and sun-damaged skin. To learn more, call Renstar at 352-629-5800. Help us create a healthier tomorrow by volunteering today. Please call Renstar at 352-629-5800.
Do you like Vietnamese food? Well, come to Kim Long's, Ocala's one and only Vietnamese restaurant. The goal of Kim Long's is to capture the authenticity of the Vietnamese homeland and get a taste of other influences within the Vietnamese cuisine. They're open Monday through Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., Sundays, 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. You can make reservations by calling 352-236-5791. That's Kim Long, Ocala's only Vietnamese restaurant. If you missed the Voice of Ocala recently, you missed Buddy Martin and Mayor Kent Gwynn asked the millennials what their take was on this upcoming electoral season.
I'm one of those people that I'm incredibly passionate about exercising your right to vote to begin with. And I'm one of those people that's going to pick the lesser of two evils. There's got to be one that's better than the other and one that's going to serve the country better than the other. So you got to look and weigh the pros and cons of both sides and understand what you're dealing with and then go from there.
That was Jake Perkins with his thoughts on the election season. So, what did Anita Blackman think?
It's kind of hard for me to put into words exactly my views on this election because it's just been such mass craziness, and I didn't think my first election that I could vote in, that I've been so excited for, would be anything like this.
From the young crowd on the Voice of Ocala. So listen to us weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. right here on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Have you checked this week's ad for Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens? If so, you'd know they're holding over that fabulous BOGO deal on crepe myrtles. All crepe myrtles, every one in stock, large or small, buy one, get one free. Other outstanding deals, dwarf, ever-blooming red ruffle azaleas, still just $2.99 each. Famous encore azaleas starting at only $14.99. Gorgeous purple blooming Texas sage, number 4 size, not $14.99, just $9.99, and fragrant white blooming Confederate jasmine only $6.99. Don't forget that truckload tree sale. It's simple. You buy one tree any size, you get a second tree same size, half price. More specials wherever you look at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, Southeast 38th Street, Ocala. Homegrown, locally owned, in the same place since 1952.
Yeah, I'm that drip coming down from the corner of the room. But where did I come from? I'll never tell.
Bone Dry Roofing can and will fix it right the first time using quality materials and will deal honestly and fairly with you, period. You can find Bone Dry Roofing on their website, bonedryroofingllc.com, and Facebook at Bone Dry Roofing LLC. Do it right before your roof needs a tarp to keep the elements out. Bone Dry Roofing stands behind their work to help make your home safe and secure. Plus, they have financing available. Remember, if you're not bone dry, then you're all wet.
Veterans are the foundation upon which our freedom is built. Listen to The Source, WOCA, each Thursday at 9 a.m. to Veterans News with Hank Whittier from Vets Helping Vets. You'll hear tributes, information on veterans issues, and stories that will make you laugh, cry, and feel proud. Veterans News always focuses on the military, past and present, and on our first responders. Veterans News is brought to you each week by Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery, keeping you blooming since 1952.
Putting the local back into radio. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
If you want to avoid getting ripped off and put more money in your pocket, then join me, Clark Howard, every weeknight at 6, right here on WOCA, The Source.
We are The Source, WOCA. Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Heath. Well, that's the new intro song. It's got to be.
Well, no, the intro song comes up in about a minute and a half.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, we're going to
So
play
what we're going to do is sing right now?
No, we'll just wait about a minute and a half.
Christine, what do you like to do? You like to sing? Let's sing a song.
I'm not.
By the way, have you ever watched Ray Donovan?
No.
Ray Donovan, who's the ultimate Mr. Fix-It. That's what he is. He was a bad guy, but he tries to do good things. He's got no, if ever a guy couldn't dance or sing, it'd be him. He did karaoke last night on the show. Bob Seger song. Singing. It was really funny and quite good. It's always fun to watch people embarrass themselves trying to sing when they don't know how to sing.
All right. Well, we'll be back in a minute. Do you remember when summer was a celebration? You know, no schools, no worries, just days packed with your favorite pastime. It was the splendid season you dreamed of all year long. But as you got older and busier, the summer seemed to lose its sparkle. Where did those carefree days go? Well, they're closer than you think. Summer's still sensational at Golden Ocala Golf and Equestrian Club, where you can come out and play the grown-up way with our affordable summer memberships. Enjoy our championship golf course celebrating the game's greatest holes, hard-true tennis courts, and a state-of-the-art fitness center. Explore our stately 77,000-square-foot clubhouse and unwind at our relaxing spa. Don't forget the pool! It's a summer unlike any other, and it's yours with a Golden Ocala summer membership. You can call Golden Ocala at 629-6229 to inquire about a summer membership, or you can visit goldenocala.com to learn more. That's goldenocala.com.
How much time? 30 seconds. I'm on right now. I don't believe you.
Okay. Enough kidding around.
Ho, 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 ho.
And now it's time for the Buddy Martin Sports Page.
He actually had me stay here last night in his gym.
It's like I don't fit in. It's like I don't belong here.
Let's go talk to a couple of guys that never gamble.
Oh, see, I made Lewis a bet here. See, Lewis bet me that we couldn't both get rich and put you on the poor house at the same time. He didn't think we could do it.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
And now, here's Buddy.
Welcome to Buddy Martin Sports Page on a Monday. Time to go out to the hotline now and talk to a guy who used to be on the airwaves here in our fair city for quite some time. He was a young buck back in those days, and still a young buck to me, and now he's a star in Columbia. Like the song goes, everybody's a star in L.A. County. That was actually said to me one time by Steve Spurrier when I was doing radio with John Brantley. He walked by the table and said, everybody's a star in L.A. County, which only Spurrier could pull off. Time now to talk to Heath Klein from Columbia, South Carolina. It was the afternoon talk show. I saw him in Columbia, saw him in Hoover, had an opportunity to spend a little time with Heath. And matter of fact, I know he has lots of callers and lots of listeners. I'm not sure how many, but I know one guy who listens because when my phone rang after the show and it said Steve Spurrier, I knew he'd been listening to Heath Klein. How you doing, Heath?
Hey, buddy, how you doing? I wondered about that, whether or not the HBC by any wild chance had been listening to us there.
Yes, he was. He was listening. Yeah, make a point with me about something that I said, but that's okay. That's the way Spurrier rolls, and then we know that. Hey, listen, it's pretty nice to have him listening. Although he did tell me that Jerry wanted to listen, that's why he turned it on. So,
I can
Steve.
believe that.
Heath, it was an interesting time in on Radio Row there with you in your familiar seat there at the Hyatt Winfrey. You had a lot of interesting guests, a lot of talk going on, and it started off the week with Jim McElwain and all the way through to the end with Hugh Freeze and now the news out of Baton Rouge, of course, has changed the direction of a few things, including Les Miles, who skipped the car wash at ESPN this week because of the tragedy in Baton Rouge. But for a moment, let's reflect back on the past week and what did you take away from Hoover and the SEC Media Days, Heath?
Well, we all miss Spurrier so much, buddy, because there's not enough personality in this league right now. And Brett Bielema is fine, and McElwain has his moments, and Muschamp has his moments. But this is just it's a conference that just doesn't have as much personality as it seems like it once had. You think about a guy like a Tuberville. He's not up there being Carrot Top or anything, but he just had his own way of doing things, his own persona, and it just seems like there's been a lot of that kind of squeezed out of the conference in the last few years. And the other thing that stands out, too, is this is about as inexperienced as the conference coaches have been in forever. I'm sure you saw the stat about how it was the first time since 1989 either Spurrier or Richt hadn't been there at SEC Media Days. And there's about half the conference that's basically only been there through about one presidential administration or less. And that's just kind of a strange thing when you've gotten used to the idea of these veteran guys that we've seen for so many years.
Smiles now the dean, I guess, of the whole group there. You're in a unique situation because you're right in the heart of SEC and ACC country because a few miles down the road from Columbia is Clemson. Dabo Swinney's got a great program going there right now. I don't throw that word around because he's done a terrific job. And even his rival in Columbia gives him a lot of props for what he's done there. And now he could be playing for a national championship. Let's just talk first about the culture of Columbia, South Carolina, and how does it break down? In Alabama, right away, they're either Auburn or they're Alabama. Is that way in Columbia now with Clemson and South Carolina?
Yeah, I'd say so in large part. There are some people who've come to the state who I think and maybe go one way or the other, depending on maybe who their friends are on the street or whether they live in a certain part of the state or who's winning at any given time or anything like that. But the lines are pretty nearly on. The one thing is, buddy, it's a little different, I think, than even Florida FSU felt back in the day. There seems to be a lot more genuine resentment, genuine ugliness sometimes in this rivalry that I think maybe there is in a Florida FSU rivalry. I mean, obviously, we know both sides want each other badly, but there's also great achievement on both sides, whereas Clemson has a title, South Carolina even won the SEC. So it seems like a chip on the shoulder is a little bigger than sometimes Florida FSU or some of those other rivalries.
Well, you've seen a unique position there with Steve Spurrier. I don't know how it looks from where you sit, but how popular was Spurrier in Columbia as compared to, and you were here when he was at Gainesville, so you can compare him. How popular was he in Columbia compared to where he was in Gainesville?
It's impossible, I think, to ever be quite the same level because, I mean, the Gainesville thing is almost like a movie script. You come, you win Heisman, you then return and not only win a title, but then coach a Heisman Trophy winner yourself. I mean, that's going to be almost impossible for anybody else to ever do. With South Carolina, though, just the fact that he came alone made him such a star and an icon to them, and then the fact that he beat Clemson 5 times in a row. They hadn't won 3 in a row since Nixon was in the White House. He beat them 5 times in a row and did it. And not like he benefited from some down ebb in Clemson football. This is the most sustained excellence Clemson's had in decades, and yet he hung 5 L's in a row on them. So I think that certainly there was great love and respect for him just for giving him the shot in the first place, and then what he was able to do that no matter who it is, whether it's Muschamp or somebody else, nobody can get around the fact that now it's been done. You've won 11 in a row, 3 years in a row. You've finished in the top 5. You've been to Atlanta. Now, there are still things to accomplish, but nobody can say, well, no one can do it here because we've seen that Steve Spurrier can do it.
Muschamp, of course, is, I guess, a popular choice right now. We'll see how that weighs out and what happens. But I thought Muschamp was on his best behavior. And actually, he seemed more likable and had a little bit of a sense of humor, which I hadn't seen. Did you get that sense of him in Hoover?
Yeah, he's been that way, I think, in the times we've had a chance to be around him. I just think he's a lot more comfortable in his skin this time around, Buddy, because, again, he's done it. And I just think that no matter how gifted you are as a coach, there are so many things that you don't know about being a head coach until you have had to do them. And I think that this time around he feels like he has a better chance to sort of be himself. I think that he has a better feeling for how to put together a staff than he had, certainly on offense, down in Gainesville. And I think he also understands that the expectations are different. I mean, the reality is that at Florida, you just won 2 titles and finished in the top 5 in another year, all in since 2006. And okay, everybody understood the program wasn't quite at that same height, but nobody was expecting anything less than about 10 wins a season. It's just different here. I mean, you're talking about a 3-9 team, and everybody understands there's a building process that's going to happen. It's been a great run. Spurs did amazing things, but it petered out at the end. And so, again, there's one guy on the all-conference team. He's a third-string kicker. So I think Muschamp just knows, the feeling, the pressure is different. That doesn't mean he doesn't expect he has to do big things right away, but he's got some time that he wouldn't have had at a lot of other jobs because of what he took over.
Heath Klein from Columbia does the afternoon show, 107.5 The Game in Columbia. Have been doing it for how many years have you been doing that show? 10?
Geez, it's kind of amazing. I guess this will be 9 in December that I've been up there, which is hard for me to believe sometimes.
Yeah, well, that's the longest Spur has so far. All right, give me your football knowledge here. Let's talk ACC for a second. It's pretty obvious what everybody thinks is going to happen, but there could be some outliers there. Are you Clemson or are you Florida State here? And if so, why? And then who behind them do you look for to contend this year in the ACC?
Yeah, FSU, it's really interesting because there's some people who I really respect, like Daniel Jeremiah, who is NFL Network, is former NFL scout, tweets and moved the sticks online. Jeremiah says he thinks FSU, with their talent, can win the whole national title. That's his pick, for them to win the whole thing. And then I have other friends who I respect who think that their quarterback situation is too unstable and that they're one of the most overrated teams in the country. And so I'm fascinated to see which way that goes, how that plays out. Clemson, I think that it's really easy to fall into the mindset that you can just replace what they lost on defense because they did it one year, just assume that they'll do it again. Offensively, as long as Watson's healthy, they're going to be spectacular. And if you look at their schedule, there's almost nobody other than FSU that you can make a case why it would even be a tricky game. I mean, Georgia Tech, if Paul Johnson gets them back to where they've been, maybe on a Thursday night they've got a chance to make life challenging for them. That's been a trip-up game for Clemson sometimes in the past. Louisville is going to be better, I think, but again, it's at Clemson, and better, but is better good enough to win? I'm not sure. And then FSU. Other than that, I mean, you look at the rest of their schedule. Auburn on the road, it's a Jordan Aaron, that's hard. But buddy, I don't think any of us are buying that Auburn has solved all their problems by recruiting John Franklin at quarterback. That's a little too steep a hill for me to believe that they've climbed right away. And South Carolina at the end of the year, Muschamp might make them better, but I don't know about better to win at Clemson. That seems like a stretch too. So I can only find about 3 games on that schedule they can lose. And unless something happens to Watson, and if something happens to Watson, then again everything could change real fast. But if he's healthy, it's just hard to see who's going to beat them, except for a couple of teams. And then for FSU, again, if FSU is what some people think they are, they could beat Clemson, especially playing at home. But then will they be consistent? Will they be able to avoid tripping up in some other games? I wonder about that.
Well, you mentioned the 2 teams everybody likes, and you got how many? 3 new coaches there, certainly for Virginia Tech, and Miami and what have you. You've got 2 dominant teams, and you got some guys fighting for the job. Paul Johnson may be fighting for his job in December. Bobby Petrino, I guess he's not going to lose his job, but he's got to show up and do something there in his position in Louisville. So, it's kind of a wide open deal right now after those 2, but I think it's almost like the recent British Open. 2 guys lead the way by 10 shots.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to it, I think. Louisville, the one thing is with Jackson at quarterback, I think that they at least feel like they know what they're trying to do now. And he's not a classic Petrino quarterback, but at least we now know what their plan is. And I don't think last year they had any idea what their plan was. They didn't figure it out until late in the year. So they're the one maybe to keep an eye on. I'm not a huge Ty Grantham fan on defense coordinator, buddy. I imagine based on what you've seen, you probably aren't awestruck by Grantham's work either, although we've never talked about it. But that defense is mighty complicated, and sometimes it gets him beat. He doesn't adjust very well if he doesn't have a good initial plan until halftime. And by that time, and frequently it's too late to overcome what mistakes are happening in the first half. But that's the one team that I'm curious about. North Carolina, Chiswick in year 2 will probably make them better. Trubisky's probably a pretty good quarterback. It's hard for me to believe Larry Fedora is going to win that conference. He can do some good things, but I still have trouble buying that he's going to win the conference.
I didn't mention North Carolina, and they did have a good year last year, and they're starting a team that you have to respect for sure. So, Heath Klein, 107.5 The Game, Columbia. Good to have you on the program. Appreciate it very much, and catch you after, when the season starts. I'll see you along the old Sawdust Trail in the press box.
Anytime, buddy.
Thank you, Heath Klein. I mentioned the British Open, by the way, and some of the best golf I ever saw. And you know who else said that? Jack Nicklaus. We'll talk about that coming up in a couple of minutes. Next, France Beer joins the program right here on
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
There's a car accident in this country every 5 seconds. That's why Allstate thinks it's time for an entirely different kind of car insurance, with features like accident forgiveness and a safe driving bonus. It's called Your Choice Auto, and it's only from Allstate. Are you in good hands?
You deserve better. Sign up for Your Choice Auto from Allstate. Call the McDonald Agency today at 622-2333.
Features are optional and subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Insurance, Northbrook, Illinois.
My name is Bo Briggs. I'm a 6th-generation Ocala, and I practice law with my father at the Briggs Law Firm. Over the years, we've seen many changes to Ocala and many changes in our profession. What has not changed is our commitment to our clients. You will speak with and get to know your attorney. That will never change. A lawyer will personally handle your case, not a paralegal. So if you've been injured in an accident and would appreciate personal attention, you can reach us at 671-4600 or learn more at thebriggslawfirm.com.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life. From everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's National Magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz.
Hi, I'm State Farm agent Angie Lewis. Come see me and my team for all your insurance and financial needs in the beautiful downtown historic district, 416 East Fort King Street, or call 291-2444.
Your quality of life is meant to be fully enjoyed each day. The doctors at Ayers Global understand that and strive to provide a quality of life for you that has no equal. Ayers Therapeutic Services combines naturopathic and family medicine to help all your health needs. Diabetic management, hypertension, pain management, and anti-aging are just a few of the services offered by the Ayers family. Call 352-512-0222 today, and Ayers Therapeutic Services will help you begin to understand that better health begins with you.
Stay informed on everything going on in the Villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the Villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online. Need a mailbox rental but need more information? Remember Personal Service Center, 789-6683. How does $10 a month sound with just a 3-month commitment? Remember Personal Service Center, 789-6683. Mention WOCA and the setup fee is waived. Personal Service Center will email or text notifications to you when your packages arrive. Even scan mail so you never actually have to pick it up. Now that's service. Personal Service Center, 789-6683. Located on the corner of Northeast 25th Avenue and 24th Street, Ocala. Look for the yellow signs.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
That was the sound of a tree falling. It could be your tree. You're going to have it trimmed, but never got around to calling Pride Tree Service. It could have fallen in a field, and now all you have to do is call Pride Tree Service, and they'll have it quickly out of the way for a great price. But don't wait until the tree falls. It may not fall in the field. It may hit your car, your house, or worse. So call Pride Tree Service today and avoid all those headaches before they happen. Pride Tree Service, 572-2510. That's 572-2510.
Back on Buddy Sports Page. Time out to go to the hotline and talk to our usual Monday contributor, Franz Beard, FightingGators.com, joins us on the program right now. And let's sort of size up the situation of the athletic director's job, because we had some conversations this past few days with other people. There doesn't seem to be a clear front runner. Our friend Mark Blodshon told us that he thought Joe Castiglione, how do you say his name? Castiglione, is that how you say his name? Franz Beard would know that, from Oklahoma, might be a great candidate for Florida. Let's go down to Franz Beard. Franz, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Joe Castiglione would be an excellent candidate, but I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. He's long time been at Oklahoma. He's got his roots there. His family's been raised there. And he's coming off a season where his basketball team made Final Four, football team made Final Four, gymnastics and softball teams won national championships. He's not going anywhere.
What are you getting?
It would be a nice fit.
Yeah, what is your take? I've had some conversations with ADs recently, a couple of SEC guys, and I asked them what kind of person Florida might go after. They were not people from Florida, although one has some ties. And they said, just depends on what they want, the board and the president, the kind of person they want. An administrator, a compliance guy, a businessman, a fundraiser, whatever they're looking for. And they're different, as we saw. Or there's the other one, the celebrity, which, as far as I know, the only team, the school to do that was USC. Len Swan, that was a head scratcher there. So in your mind, you know the program quite well, Franz Beard. If you were going to say, this is kind of person I'm looking for, and be specific, what kind of AD do you think Florida ought to hire?
I think Florida's got to go for a guy that is good at fundraising. They've got some serious facilities issues that are going to have to be addressed in the future. They're going to go after a guy that does it. I think there are 5 guys out there that are really getting vetted for this. I think Greg Byrne at Arizona, who has SEC experience as the associate AD at Kentucky and then the AD at Mississippi State, great basketball guy, great fundraiser. I think he's one, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's not at the top. Chris Del Conte at TCU, another guy that has done a lot with what was perceived to be a little, and they raised $250 million and totally transformed their athletic plant into a modern one, and it shows in their entire athletic program. They're winning championships at a private school that's very tough on academics. So they're doing very, very well there. Third guy, is a guy that is at Kansas State, a guy named John Curry. Spent his time at Tennessee back in the 90s working for Douglas Adair Dickey. Really strong fundraiser, really good bottom line guy. I think his bottom line experience would appeal to the people who say, well, you know, Foley always balanced the budget. He's had 6 surpluses in 6 consecutive years. Fourth guy, Kirby Hocutt, used to be the athletic director at Miami, now is the athletic director at Texas Tech. Young guy, good football guy, played college football. I like him a lot, but I think his Miami experience, I think there are those who would not want him because of that. But I think he's a good guy. And the fifth guy is a Gainesville guy, Bernard Meir, and he's the athletic director at Stanford, and here's why he would be a great fit, buddy. Let's start with where he did his sports management master's degree. Ohio University. Who went to Ohio U? And before he came to Florida? That Foley guy, right? He then goes to Notre Dame and spends 10 years at Notre Dame working under a guy named Kevin White, now the athletic director at Duke.
Has a little bit of a connection there in Gainesville, as a matter of fact, Kevin White.
Yes, indeed. He has known Mike White since Mike White was a kid.
That's his brother.
And Bernard played his high school basketball with Lamar Thomas and Vernon Maxwell. I mean, he was a really good ball player. He went up to Brown University. He turned down scholarships to take an Ivy League education at Brown University. The question there is this. At Stanford, all of his scholarships are endowed. He's got an unlimited endowment fund for the entire university that's in the multiple billions, like $25 to $40 billion, something like that. You know, money is not an object. Is he a guy that really knows how to go out and get money?
Yeah,
and that's going to define the future. Is that guy? Plus, you know, at Stanford, he wins the Directors' Cup every single year just by rolling out of bed.
Yeah,
and you know, let's face it, buddy. You know, Northern California is not a bad lifestyle at all.
It's a really good list, and I appreciate it very much. We're out of time. Thank you so much. FransBeardsFightingGator.com. There you go. If you want to look at a list of people who might be candidates, Fran's got a good one there. Coming up next, we'll talk about the British Open, and we've got Joe Williams to talk about the Big 12, Pac-12 right here on
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Have you been diagnosed with BPH or an enlarged prostate gland? Are you tired of getting up at night to visit the bathroom? You may be eligible for the Equinox study, a clinical research study of an investigational drug to reduce the number of times you wake up to urinate at night, a condition known as nocturia. To qualify, you must be male, be at least 18 years of age, have been diagnosed with BPH, have been bothered by nocturia for at least 1 year, and meet additional study requirements. Qualified participants will receive all study medication and study-related care from a dedicated team of medical staff at no cost. Health insurance is not required to participate. Again, the Equinox study is for males, ages 18 and older, who are diagnosed with BPH and have been bothered by nocturia for at least 1 year. To find out more and to see if you qualify, please call 1-352-234-8436. That's 1-352-234-8436.
Commercial Bank approval. Vehicle purchase price affects trade alone.
Is your old car dead? Then declare your independence and say yes to red, white, and you in a nicer, newer car.
Chris Spears from Prestige Auto Sales, your dealer for the people. This month we want to help you get approved.
Even if you've heard no in the past, we believe you deserve to drive a nicer, newer car today.
Past credit problems are welcome here. We look at the story behind the score to help you drive a nicer, newer car today. So pop into action and zoom into a nicer, newer car faster than you ever thought possible.
Worried about firecrackers on your credit report? My For the People credit approval process is the bomb. We work with the banks and lenders who want you to declare your independence.
Plus, right now you could save up to $4,000 depending on the car you choose. But hurry, this deal's done once we've helped 77 people blast off in a nicer, newer car. I'm Chris Spears, a dealer for the people.
Visit Prestige on Highway 200 in Ocala, online at prestigefree.com, or call 694-1234. Yes, 694-1234. See you at Prestige.
Do you remember when summer was a celebration? You know, no schools, no worries, just days packed with your favorite pastime. It was the splendid season you dreamed of all year long. But as you got older and busier, the summer seemed to lose its sparkle. Where did those carefree days go? Well, they're closer than you think. Summer's still sensational at Golden Ocala Golf and Equestrian Club, where you can come out and play the grown-up way with our affordable summer memberships. Enjoy our championship golf course celebrating the game's greatest holes, hard-true tennis courts, and a state-of-the-art fitness center. Explore our stately 77,000 square foot clubhouse and unwind at our relaxing spa.
Don't forget the pool!
It's a summer unlike any other, and it's yours with a Golden Ocala summer membership. You can call Golden Ocala at 629-6229 to inquire about a summer membership, or you can visit goldenocala.com to learn more. That's goldenocala.com.
Need a car? Need financing? Need somebody to cut through the red tape and send you rolling down the highway? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Got great credit and just prefer a quality pre-owned car at a fair price from somebody you can trust? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Want to avoid high pressure to feel appreciated and be able to choose from a wide selection of AutoCheck and Carfax certified vehicles? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Prestige Auto Sales in Ocala. Prestige. It's all there in our name.
Hello, everybody. This is Terry Bradshaw reminding you to listen to Buddy Martin's Sports Page weekdays at 5 p.m. right here on The Source.
This is a public notice. Local residents can now save thousands of dollars on their next car, truck, or SUV. It's not a tent sale, because no tent is big enough to hold this many cars. It's OcalaForSale.com. Say goodbye to sticker shock. OcalaForSale.com has thousands of vehicles with no stickers at all. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Whether you're building it up or knocking it down, get it done, rent it now. Sunbelt Rentals is here to make your job a little easier. Our knowledgeable staff will help you find the right equipment for any job, big or small. Did you know that Sunbelt Rentals carries heaters, air conditioners, generators, lighting, traffic control, and so much more? So whether you're building it up or knocking it down, we've got the equipment you need. Get it done, rent it now. And right now, for a limited time, you can have it for less. Just by mentioning this ad, if you rent it Friday afternoon, you can keep it the whole weekend and only pay for one day. But this is a limited time offer, so stop into Sunbelt Rentals today, Northwest 27th, just a quarter mile east of I-75. For more information, just give us a call, 352-369-9101. 352-369-9101. Sunbelt Rentals. Get it done, rent it now. 352-369-9101.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin.
Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
We are The Source, WOCA, news, talk, sports, and more.
Welcome back to Buddy's Sports Page. Buddy, you had to be riveted to your television set yesterday morning from about 7:30 till 2, watching as the leaders went off. They teed off at, 9:52 in the morning. I have not seen better golf in my lifetime than Henrik Stenson and Phil Mickelson put up yesterday at the British Open, the 145th British Open. Phil Mickelson, at the beginning of the day, if you as a reporter, Buddy Martin, the esteemed golf guy and columnist you are, went and told Phil, you're going to shoot 65 today. How do you feel about your chances of winning? He'd have told you he was going to hold the claret jug.
Heart breaks for old Phil because he played some great golf.
He played all
his lowest round in a major was on the first round.
Yeah, and then that's the lowest he shot on a Sunday in a major ever in his career.
Right,
but can we all agree the tournament was won with a 51-foot putt off the fringe on the par 5 15th? On a par 4 15th, which, by the way, was playing as one of the 6 hardest holes on the golf course.
Well, here's the thing. You might have been impressed, and I might have been impressed, and it was as good a golf as I've ever seen. I've seen a few events. And
You watched the duel in the sun.
Well,
Nicklaus and Watson.
I've actually seen in person some fine performances by different. I'll tell you what, people don't know David Graham when he was at Marion shot a fabulous 4th round. I walked every step and watched him. It wasn't a low scoring round, but it was a great round of golf. And there's been some great rounds of golf. I was there when Johnny Miller shot 63. I didn't see it because he shot it early, but I was there and experienced that. But in terms of just head-to-head, in terms of quality shots, I mean, Henrik Stenson is the greatest iron player on tour. And you think we were impressed? You know, the duel in the sun which took place there between Tom Watson and Jack Nicklaus. Pretty good golf,
just down the road 25 miles at Turnberry.
What Jack Nicklaus says about what happened yesterday, better than the duel in the sun which he and Tom Watson played. They said they played better. It was better golf than what we had in the duel in the sun.
He tied the lowest round in a major, and he did it in the final group on a Sunday.
And just a little exclamation point at the end there, not only did he play well, he staved off Mickelson, who got in a little trouble with some of the shots. But you know, Lefty, he gets out of trouble, makes great shots.
Oh, he was. You see how he up and down. He was. What was the stat? 13 for 17 up and down.
Something like that.
He made a lot of putts too, a lot of long putts. And he kept it competitive.
Phil did get some of the luckiest breaks, though.
Well, he got some bad breaks and some lucky breaks that made him up. But he's very Arnold Palmer. That's why Arnold Palmer played. Same way. But the deal is that Henrik Stenson closed it, and not only that, he finished it off with an exclamation point with a punt on 18 that I don't know how it went in the side door.
Side door, that ball was by the hole when it fell in. That was a back door.
But it wasn't luck. He played brilliantly, and he deserved to win. I'm glad for Phil that he's back. It makes golf better, but too bad. You shoot 65, and you can't win an event. So coming up next, it's time for the cranky one, Joe Williams. We're talking football. Oh, you too. And talking football, but anyway, let you talk to Joe. That'd be kind of cool. Be two cranky guys. Coming up next, right here on
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Career Source, Citrus, Levy, Marion brings together business and community partners, economic development leaders, and educational providers to connect employers with qualified, skilled talent and job seekers with employment and career development opportunities. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of each month at 9:30 a.m. to Career Source, Citrus, Levy, Marion, and learn how they can help you.
On the next AM Ocala Live, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin answering your gardening questions on In the Garden with Carol Ann.
News Bites, the hottest news and current events served bite-sized.
And then Matt Gibbs talking about cars on auto repair with personal care.
Becky Wade is a professional long-distance runner. She'll be speaking about her new book, Run the World.
And then Dr. Richard J. Benjamin and Dr. Arthur Bracey coming on to speak about protecting our blood supply against the Zika virus. All of that plus fun with Joe on the next AM Ocala Live.
Hi, this is Brad. I want to take a moment to talk about a serious issue. In the next 5 years, the aviation industry is projected to have a shortage of commercial pilots. Now is the time to start training. Ocala Flying Club has started a scholarship for the youth of Marion County ages 17 to 24. The club will donate up to $4,000 towards a pilot's license. This will help get the student on their way to obtaining their commercial pilot license. If this sounds like something you would be interested in, or if you know someone that would be, please contact Ocala Aviation Services, 861-7484.
Hi, this is Mayor Kent Gwynn. Have you ever wondered what the younger generation thinks? Well, here's the chance to find out. The Mayor and the Millennials coming soon to WOCA 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
WWWWOCA, WWWWOCA.
1370 WOCA.
Back on Buddy Sports Page. Time now to go to the hotline and talk to a guy who knows a lot about football and a lot about nothing, but especially knows about the Big 12 and Pac-12 because has to suffer through watching it every year. He's Denver's #1 sports talk show host, our friend. Glad to have him back on the show, Joe Williams. How are you, Joe?
Quarterbacks, women, and the human condition. Those are my specialties.
Which one is #1? I'm afraid to ask.
Well, it is true that I've been blessed with an insight into women that others don't have.
Did you dub yourself as the chick magnet in Denver a few years ago?
Well, I wouldn't say I hung it on myself.
Yeah, I think you did. Pretty sure.
But that's not why you call me, is it?
No, it's not.
I didn't think so.
It's not. This is Joe. This is serious football time now.
I know it. I'm getting ready.
Yeah. Once we get past July 4th, it's time to start talking some ball. And I went to Oklahoma recently, and I crossed that Red River right there and over into your fair state from Gainesville, actually. And I stood in front of the game. I got a picture of it. In front of the sign that says Gainesville on it, the other Gainesville, where Joe Williams grew up and terrorized the neighborhood. And he used to go root for those Texas Longhorns to beat those Oklahoma Sooners, but you were almost in the heart of Oklahoma country, man. So that Red River rivalry was a big deal to you.
Well, see, here's the deal. All my relatives, my mother, everybody they're all Okies. And when I was born, she took me across the line to Gainesville, across the river, because that was the closest hospital. But they're all Okies, and, I've never let them live it down. And, some years they've got me, and some years we got them. But, no, it is true. I'm a Texan, and I can't say I'm any worse for the wear for
it. Well, speaking of worse for wear, the Longhorns they can't seem to get it going, and Charlie Strong better get something going this year, or the Wolves are going to be at his door. You can just rely on that rebuilding card just so long. He's got some issues. I don't think they had anybody drafted last year. I don't believe in off that tire.
No, it's just been the worst. And Texas's problem since Mac Brown has been really recruiting quarterbacks who can win for you. You got to have that in college football. Everybody knows that. And Charlie Strong, who's 11-14. He's going into his third year. I'll tell you, his last two classes he's recruited very well, but he has not yet come up with the answer at quarterback. They think maybe Shane Buechele might be the answer, but the biggest difference might be their new offensive coordinator. who they talked out of Tulsa, Sterling Gilbert, who is supposed to be a master at retooling offenses. He did it at Tulsa. They averaged over 500 yards there. And he was at Bowling Green in Eastern Illinois, and he had that Jimmy Garoppolo, the guy that's at New England, and he kind of whipped him into shape. And Texas, I think, will be better if this Buechele, who was the surprise of spring ball down there, if he emerges, because the other two guys they've got, they just don't get the job done. Texas punted the ball last year more times than any team in the conference except Kansas. Now think about that. So we'll see where they are right off the bat. They play Notre Dame and Austin on September the 4th. I don't think an upset is out of the question. Notre Dame's got a few problems themselves, but I look for Texas to be one of the most improved teams in the country, if not in the Big 12, and maybe a dark horse to win the Big 12, depending on that quarterback situation.
No. Well, now the big story is Baylor. And all week long, the Big 12 media days, they're talking about Art Browse and how it's going to change that situation. They had a juggernaut going there in Baylor for sure. Yeah, I know you don't like big game Bob Stoops, my friend, but he has one. I looked it up. Won 9 Big 12 championships, Joe. So you need to show a little respect every now and then to Bob Stoops.
Well, his 17 years as head coach, I think he's won as many games as any coach ever has in their first 17 years. But, Oklahoma, they got Baker Mayfield is back.
I love Baker Mayfield. I love him. I love watching him play.
Yeah, he threw for over 3,700 yards last year. And it's a great story. It's from Lake Travis High School in Austin. And Texas did right under their nose. They didn't even recruit him. He had to walk on to Texas Tech. He played there 7 games or so and then got hurt. Then he decided to transfer to Oklahoma and set out the year before last, and then beat everybody in the Big 12 last year except, can you believe it, Texas. Texas beat them. And Oklahoma plays Houston and Ohio State out of the conference, and we'll see where the Sooners are. I don't look for them to come back to into the national championship playoff game.
Well, I know one thing. There were Baker Mayfield. I talked to one of the coaches there, and he said their problem they got with him is he knocks himself out all the time. He just takes these huge hits, and they're trying to get him out of that. By the way, they have a new wide receiver coach up there, Steve Spurrier Jr. is Bobby Stoops' wide receiver. He's actually a quality control coach. All right, so let's look at the Big 12 real quick. Then we'll switch over to something else. Big 12, we kind of got they can't make up their mind if they're going to expand, not expand, whatever the case may be. But you got to like Oklahoma at the top for sure. TCU, every year, Gary Patterson has that team competitive. Unless now he probably won't have Baylor to deal with. How come Gary Patterson didn't get more love?
Well, he has gotten love down there. He just doesn't get 5-star recruits. What he does is he recruits 205, 210-pound fullbacks out of Texas and turns them into defensive ends. He does a good job there. This year they've got a Texas A&M transfer, Kenneth Hill, who will be playing for the Frogs. I don't think TCU is going to be quite as good as they have been. I think Baylor, it seems to me like you're overlooking Baylor.
Well, I am.
Although they lost almost all their offensive line.
That's why I'm overlooking them.
Sean Oakman on defense, they have really recruited well, and they get Seth Russell back, although Jarrett Stidham, the freshman, who had to come in after Seth Russell went out, he transferred, he's going somewhere else. And Baylor's, of course, with all their off-field problems, Art Briles is not going to be there, so who knows what that's going to amount to. Jim Grobe's the new guy. They've got a 3-week stretch in November against Texas, TCU, and Oklahoma, and that'll determine if the Bears are legit. They lost to, by the way, all 3 of those teams last year. Oklahoma State
how about Oak State?
The most. They've got the most starters back on offense, including James Washington, who's the Big 12's only returning 1,000-yard receiver. Mason Rudolph is back. He's their quarterback. He's a good one. He averaged 14 yards per completion. That was about the best in Division I. And get this, boys, Barry Sanders is coming back to
Junior
Stillwater.
In the house. I heard Mike Gundy say. Right. Mike Gundy said he hasn't seen him yet. Wink, wink. So that's a great name, and I remember
this could be Oklahoma. Yeah, I think this could be Oklahoma State's best team since 2011, when they had that double overtime loss to Iowa State that kept them from playing for the national championship. And they play at Baylor, they play at TCU, and Oklahoma, and that there will determine. I think they're going to be good this year. I think Mike Gundy's got him a good team.
Joe Williams from the Mile High City in Denver. talking college football with Joe, and he gets to watch all the Pac-12 stuff out there. And I know I have a guy here interested with you. He just loves the Pac-12. Stays up every night to watch it. Tom Schmitz, you and he have share that love of that conference, Joe.
Well, that's the sissy conference, as we like to call it. They don't, it's not a physical style of football, although Stanford has kind of tried to change that around under David Shaw.
They don't play sissy
Stanford,
ball. They hit you in the mouth and punch Stanford.
Well, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Stanford's kind of changed that perception around. And by the way, check this out for them. They play Kansas State, Southern Cal, at UCLA, and the Washington Huskies in the month of September. Wow. How's that for one? Of course, they do have Christian McCaffrey back, who's probably the best player in the conference, if not the country. They got to replace Kevin Hogan at their quarterback. They got to rebuild their offensive and their defensive lines. But every year, David Shaw seems to come up with all the answers.
Good
He's done a job there.
Good coach.
I like the Washington Huskies as well under Chris Peterson. You like them?
That's what I was about to ask you, Joe. This is Tom Schmitz here. I was about to ask you.
Tom.
It looks like Oregon, now that Chip Kelly's about 5 years removed, has started going towards a downward spiral back to where they were before Chip Kelly. And it looks like the Huskies are coming back up under Chris Peterson. I mean, is he doing a good enough job that he may get Washington back in the conversation about maybe not being part of that nicknamed Pac-12 you give him?
Yeah, I think so, Tom. They get to play road games at Arizona, at Oregon, and Utah, but they beat SC on the road last year with Jake Browning, who was a freshman quarterback, and he's back. Everybody's back on the offensive line, but they've had some trouble staying healthy. But if they can do that, John Ross III, who might be the fastest receiver in the conference, he missed all last year. So he's coming back, and he's healthy, and he needs to be, because Washington couldn't throw the ball a lick last year. I'm a fan of Chris Peterson. I'm sure y'all are too. I have been since Boise State. And if things fall the right way, the Huskies could win. They could win the Pac-12 North. They could win it.
All right, what's this one for you, and Tom can chime in if we have time. A lot of people think Christian McCaffrey is not only the best football player in the country, but one of the best ever. The numbers he puts up here are staggering. The numbers, the yards per carry, his versatility. He might win the Heisman. We'll have this conversation in our roundtable, but when it gets down to it right now, if you're talking about Deshaun Watson, you're talking about Leonard Fournette, you're talking about Christian McCaffrey, it's kind of hard to separate those players. And how would you separate them, Joe?
Well, here's the thing. He had 1,680 more all-purpose yards than the next back in the Pac-12. He averaged 276 all-purpose yards. It's unbelievable. I thought he should have won the Heisman last year. I thought he was the best player in the country last year. And
I did too.
we know who did win it, but he's back, and they give him the ball in all kinds of situations. They throw it to him. They'll let him run between the tackles. I hope they can keep him healthy. He's fun to watch. He's a player that can do just a little bit about everything. And I watched him in high school, and I have to tell you, I didn't think he'd be this kind of a player in Division I.
Yeah, you saw his dad play pretty good football too there in the Broncos.
Yeah, he's a better player than his dad.
Yes, he is.
Joe,
yes, he is.
Joe, with all that's been said in this discussion, is there anybody out west that can challenge for the Final Four?
I don't think so. I don't think it's going to come out of the Pac-12. Utah, keep your eye on Utah. I think they're a sleeper team in the conference, and they get to play Oregon at home. They play Washington in Salt Lake City. They got Arizona and Southern Cal, all of them in Salt Lake City. They've got the best team, if you don't count quarterback, going into the season, in my opinion. They are loaded. They lost Devontae Booker, their running back. The Broncos drafted him, and they've got to replace their quarterback. And if they can do that, then I think Utah could be as good as anybody in the conference, and they could sneak in as the winner in the Pac-12. Keep in mind, you heard that right here.
Just a couple seconds to go, Joe. There's a lot of talk about what may happen with the Big 12. This week they met to talk, and some people, one of the things talking about is maybe BYU becoming sort of an annexed member of the Big 12 or sort of an expansion team. How would BYU fit in that picture?
I think BYU would fit in any picture, but they better lift that ban on playing on Sundays, because these early season games, sometimes you got to do stuff like that.
Right, that's their problem.
But BYU, obviously, they recruit nationally, if not internationally, And it's a big-time program over there, and they would fit into Big 12 if the Big 12 decides to. See, now there's not as much pressure on the Big 12 because they don't have to have those 12 teams to play a conference championship game.
Right.
They haven't decided to do it yet, and I don't think they should. But
I do, by the way. I agree. It's crazy for not doing it, but that's my opinion.
And they might end up doing it, Buddy and Tom, but they don't have to. And we'll just see where I'm trying to. I mean, you mentioned BYU, and that's a good one. I'm trying to figure out the other one that most people talk about. If they expand 2 more teams, the other one would be Houston. But I think that's the last thing that those coaches in the conference want is Houston.
Well, they'd rather get South Florida or Central Florida in sunshine and those easy games to win.
Yeah.
Joe Williams, the expert on the quarterbacks, women, and what was the other one?
The human condition.
Human condition.
Try and pay attention.
I will. Thank you, Joe. Joe Williams of Mile High City, Mile High Sports. Well, thank our guests today, Mark Bladshon, Heath Klein, Franz Beard, and the grouchy one, Joe Williams, on behalf of Christine. And I don't know, did he work today? Huh? Should I mention his name?
He's the Luke Sylvia.
All right. Jake Perkins, and Tom Schmitz. I'm Buddy Martin. Have a great night.